Check. Hey everybody, you are tuning in to the Canary Cry News Talk live stream pre-stream. We are continuing to tinker and fix little problems. The gremlins are running wild this week, but I think we're going to make it through today's show. Welcome to Friday, everybody. We made it here together. Can you believe it? It's incredible. For those who don't know, if you head on over to canarycry.party, you will see a new fun link. Yes, right at the top there, you can see we have a new button, a new link for our Rockfin. That's right, all you Rockfin fans. We finally did it. So as you know, the main the large tech platforms have been sort of obsessed with keeping us down in all sorts of ways. And there's more news on that later, but Rockfin, which is one of these platforms who claims to be committed to free speech and all things that we take for granted, we got one of those. So head over to rockfin.com/ccnt, or you can find the link over there at canarycry.party. That's a great way to go. Other than that, not a whole lot to announce today. Nothing that you don't already know. I'll tell you that much. We continue to be affected by the economic situation. Producership and producers are in the same boat, trying to make it through this crazy world. So if there's anybody out there who is less affected by what's going on, perhaps you are not so much in the economic doghouse as many others are, consider producing the show, because it is the only way that we can continue. So if that's something you're interested in, you just head on over to canarycry.support, canarycry.support, or canarycryradio.com/support. All right, folks, we're going to get the show started here. Let's do it.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. We are live to tape today, September 23rd, 2022. This is episode 538. And today, we tried to tell ya. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ, a.k.a. the Cabana Boy, live from California, here to serve you a podcast that brings you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's immersion phenomenon, oh, it's not a good one. I feel like it's gotten better since I wrote it down.
What is it?
Joe was right about one thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The emergent phenomenon about Joe being right about something. That doesn't happen all the time. No. All right. Man, it is one of those days, Gonz. And in the spirit of that, let me give you a rundown of the show here.
All right. Oh, there it is. Everything is confused right now.
All All right, Gons. Well, today, you're right. There's a lot of people right about a lot of things. We're going to start out with a new statement from Michael Flynn. Watch out, people. Michael Flynn, he's coming for you, but he's got something to say about robotics and DNA. Yeah, didn't see that one coming, did ya? Then, of course, for the Flippy update, we're checking in with Flippy, Sippy, and Chippy, and some other outlets who are latching on to the Flippy update. And right on track there, we're going to be checking out, transhumanism is in full swing. We've got some updates on upcoming upgrades to the human body, if you're interested in that. And it comes in so many different flavors, so there's a little something for everybody. We will then be doing some talking about COVID in the vaccine. There's a good chance we might have to encourage the YouTubers to head on over to one of our other platforms like Rockfin or Rumble or whatever, D-Live, of course. But we got some statements from Fauci, the Inspector General, having some comments about the overuse of the emergency use authorization. So finally, some official pushback to, well, what we've been saying all along. And then, of course, through our AI update, we've got some new psychology that, of course, will be used to bring us into the new golden age. And then by the end of the show, guys, we got a brand new vacation destination. Is it Antarctica or is it something much bigger? You'll learn about that by the end. But Gons, let's start out with our lead story. Newsweek.
Not Crazy Man's blog or a WordPress site.
Or a
Newsweek,
podcast.
Newsweek.com. Michael Flynn claims people working on putting robotics in us, changing DNA.
Oh.
Wow. Newsweek carrying the headline, but also able to do it because they have a scapegoat, But nevertheless, here's what it says. Michael Flynn.
We need to get one of those.
A scapegoat?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, our producers can present something. Michael Flynn, the national security advisor under former President Donald Trump, claimed that people are attempting to change people's DNA as a step toward, quote unquote, transhumanism. Mm-hmm. It's here. It's mainstream. It took 10 years to be this mainstream. It's been a trickle, of course, but
it's been an obsession of ours. But finally, somebody got the message to Michael Flynn, and now it's in Newsweek. So this is great. We got to find something. Okay, all right. I'll have more comments. I'll save for the next section.
Before we, so part of the what should have been the emergent phenomenon today is this is the title that we told you so, and not that we're so right about everything, but we do have this ISO, and it's going to come out. We're going to play it over and over again today, and it's from sports guy Stephen A. Smith.
I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen.
Yeah, and we also have the shorter.
I tried to tell you.
So that'll be sprinkled throughout this episode to just sort of remind ourselves and everybody else that we've been talking about this for a long time. And it's starting to roll out. While appearing on the Thrive Time show, The Reawakening versus the Great Reset podcast on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We got to rename our podcasts to something more intense like that.
Yeah.
Flynn discussed a new executive order advancing biotechnology and biomanufacturing innovation for a sustainable, safe, and secure American bioeconomy. That was signed by President Joe Biden last week. After reading a brief summary regarding the executive order, Flynn and the hosts concluded it was supporting transhumanism. According to the Encyclopedia Britannica, transhumanism is the social and philosophical movement devoted to promoting the research and development of robust human enhancement technologies. Such technologies could augment or increase human sensory reception, emotive ability. I think that's interesting. You're not feeling things right. Let me give you your proper algorithms to have the proper emotions.
Or hard enough. You're not feeling things strong enough. Or maybe intense. Too strong.
Yeah. Or cognitive capacity, as well as radically improve human health and extend human lifespans. There's a good old shot of Flynn there. And then the notion of transhumanism is not mentioned in the executive order signed by Biden, however. What do you think, Basil? We went over it. We went over the executive order.
Is that like the point they're trying to make? Are they trying to make a point that the executive order doesn't use the word transhumanism?
Oh, not just the word. They claim, Newsweek claims, the notion of transhumanism is not mentioned.
Yeah,
so it's
not
like,
mentioned. So I think they're saying,
like anything related to enhancement technologies. Yeah. See, this is a little out, right?
It's a nice little cover up.
Yeah. I mean, to anyone who's going to buy that,
but the notion, I mean, certainly is.
It's in there. The notion is in there.
The whole thing is about the notion, but just because they don't use the word doesn't mean the notion isn't there.
Yeah, that is really sneaky. The notion of transhumanism is not mentioned in the executive order signed by Biden. The video clip of Flynn discussing this has so far had more than 550,000 views on Twitter since being posted late Tuesday. Newsweek begging to get in on some of that. Quote, they are trying to change the very essence of our DNA, and there are people who are working on this. That is one of them, the Israeli public intellectual Yuval Noah Harari, Flynn said.
Classic,
Classic. Quote, it is just not going to work, so what do? They're basically going to put components of robotics into us. That is one of the issues that they're looking at. So, again, yes.
It's funny because we're reading this in Newsweek, which is, it's some sort of high watermark for these topics that we've been sort of
considered crazy
crazy people for talking about for 10 years. So it's one thing that is being mentioned in Newsweek. But the fact that it's Michael Flynn is not that great, but I mean, a lot of people listen to Michael Flynn. A lot of people respect what he has to say. So I'll get whatever. Okay. But then
go ahead. I have a thought that it might leave me if I don't get it out there.
Hold on to it. I'm holding. So the fact is, Michael Flynn, I mean, that's something. A lot of people listen to Michael Flynn, but then what he's saying about it, it's like he's not that interested in it, or he's not that knowledgeable. It's like he I don't know, somebody mentioned it to him and he watched a YouTube video and he's just kind of repeating what he saw on a YouTube video, because the way he's talking about it, the language he's using is just not that strong and not just not very poignant. I don't know, it's kind of disappointing.
I don't think it matters, because I think this is more of an indication of we are at a point now politically, like in the political realm, you have your heroes and your anti-heroes. Everyone's got someone they look up to or someone they hate in politics, or someone they disagree with. Let's just put it that way. And Flynn, because this whole Newsweek thing is, without being really blunt about it, is sort of showing, oh, look at this crazy Flynn. And I think it's gotten to the point in the world where politically there is a certain segment of people that are into a certain type of politic that are all about human enhancement, all about it, and so they're going to buy in, and they're going to. It doesn't matter what Flynn says. The fact that he's against it or warning about it is like, Republican, whatever. So,
well, with the mysterious funding of Newsweek as well, which seems to, I don't know, give the implication that there's some intelligence apparatus at work at Newsweek. It would make sense that if they are trying to push a transhuman agenda, well, what do? You use one of the foils that they've created, like in wrestling, professional wrestling. You've got the foil, who's the bad guy, and whatever the bad guy says, you're supposed to be against it. Michael Flynn is one of these foils. He's like a Trump, and whatever he says, you want the opposite. So if Michael Flynn doesn't like transhumanism, there's a certain population that's going to be like, if Michael Flynn doesn't like it, then I love it.
Well, there's a couple things. I mean, he said putting technology putting components of robotics into us, right? And so the woke crowd or whatever can be like, hey, what do you mean? You got a problem with that? I'm going to, and now they have the ammunition of, we've been seeing all the stories, how it's helping people that have, missing limbs or different things that hinder them. They have all the what is it called? Not the social media. The
social credit?
Social credit, sure, yeah. To make arguments against them. So anyway, I think it's think there's that level to take a look at as well. Because
that's
the fact that it's becoming mainstream means that there's a population that are going to be all about it, and which is interesting with the Jared Kushner thing. Remember that from a few episodes ago?
My generation is hopefully with the advances in science, the first generation to live forever, or the last generation that's going to die.
Yeah.
Yep, it's a mainstream thing, and not just because, finally, now elites are talking about it. The elites have been talking about it for a while.
Well, they've been funding it, too.
Right, yeah, but it's just, I don't know. It kind of bums me out a little bit, just because we've been talking about it for so long, and nobody cared. Nobody cares. Still, nobody cares.
Well, there's a reference to Flippy, too. Let's just do a couple more lines here. Flynn clarified that these individuals allegedly preparing to create transhumanist people are different from those that use robotics to replace lost limbs. Quote, you see the robotic arms, which can help somebody, or robotic legs, which can help somebody who lost their legs or lost the movement of their arm, he said, to be able to do things and live a normal life. But that is different to what these guys are trying to do. Quote,
which is the conversation we've been having since 2014, which is there's a difference between enhancement and restoration.
Right. 100%. Yeah. So it's totally mainstream. Here it is.
Okay.
It's earlier this year in July, right-wing conspiracy theorists and InfoWars host Alex Jones made a similar claim and was equally vague regarding the details of this alleged plan. The clip also went viral on social media.
That makes me feel a little better, because as long as we've been talking about this stuff, Alex has been there as well, and he's got way more problems than us.
Talk about
so
scapegoat.
I guess I can call that a win. Yeah.
Well, okay. And then in the clip, they have a clip here of Alex Jones. They always have to land the plane on Alex Jones here. Jones also demanded independence from artificial intelligence, computers, aliens, and Satan. There you go.
Hey, there you go.
Sum it all up.
We should all value independence from those three things.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Can't disagree with the point.
Thanks, Mikey F. Appreciate it. I guess we can call that a win. I guess we're supposed to call that a win. But it doesn't feel like that, even though it is Friday, Gons. Believe it or
Friday.
not.
Yeah. Real quick, let me just mention this because I was going to mention it before. Okay. I know. Yeah, sorry. Daniel 2:43. Just because we're mentioning that we've talked about it for a long time, this is one of the passages to reflect on. There are many. One of the passages you can reflect on to sort of think about what's happening with all this transhumanism stuff. And it's Daniel 2:43. As you saw the iron mixed with soft clay, they will mix with one another in marriage, but they will not hold together or cleave to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. So just an interesting biblical painting of an idea that resonates with what we are seeing with this transhumanist thing. So that's all I wanted to say. You're right. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
There you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
You're gonna learn today.
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got
Are you not entertained?
It's Friday. It's Friday.
That's right. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. We survived one more week, folks. Congratulations. Everybody deserves a big congrats for that. Oh, man, does it feel like it, too. I'm having a hard time today for a lot of different reasons. Might be a little bit of a bummer, but I'm trying to keep my spirits up, Gonzo.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing, Gonzo. We, especially recently, the past few months, it seems as if this show is in a period of reaping what we've sown for a while. You know, you and I, those who are OG people, we've been podcasting for over 10 years now, which is fun. Haven't really done anything for over 10 years. And we've come to a point in society where pretty much everything that we've been talking about has gone from the realm of crazy conspiracy theory or whatever to real life. And the Michael Flynn and Newsweek talking about transhumanism is simply just one example of that. And over the past few months, I would say close to a year, it started about a year ago. It's just like show after show after show is just us getting a chance to be like, oh yeah, there it is. We've been right all along. Now, here's the thing. Yes, we may be saying that a lot recently, and we are a little bit sensitive. We do not want the whole show to become
and keeping in mind there's other people there are many people who are on this sort of boat.
I think we're pretty good at mentioning that. I don't think anybody thinks we're trying to take credit as the
we're the only ones who
the
saw
sole
it.
People, right? Even though we've been doing it longer than most other people, but that doesn't matter. So, anywho, we wanted to just kind of be explicit. We are in a strange season where we are on the daily pretty much flabbergasted with even some of the crazier things we've said over the years, but coming into reality. And we do earnestly, honestly, and authentically want the producers of this show and the longtime listeners to also feel that, because we could not do it. We could not have done it without them. Yeah. That being said, I mean, the producers are the ones who have allowed us to do this. Now, that being said, we are aware, and we do not want this show to entirely turn into "we told you so" forever, because time keeps moving. We got to stay ahead. We can't rest on our laurels, guns. But we just kind of wanted to have a heart-to-heart with everybody. It's just, we're kind of it's a strange sort of existential feeling that I think
it is
expresses itself. It manifests in us only being able to say, we told you so, type of thing. And that is just sort of the instinctual response that is coming out of us when we see these things. But we don't want to just make that the whole show. We're going to be trying to move forward here. But I think it is valuable, especially for maybe new listeners who are like, wow, this show is weird and crazy, and they talk about crazy stuff. Or maybe they're coming on new to the show and they're like, yeah, these guys are just saying all the stuff regular stuff that I just am seeing. It's like, yeah, we are, but we've also been doing it for a long time, and that's why we're kind of flabbergasted. So there you go. I just wanted to say that out loud. Do you have any comment about that?
Well, I mean, yes, I agree with all the things you said there, but also, with this Michael Flynn story, there's a part of me that was kind of mad, and not because, I'm not getting credit. That's not the thing. It's having the YouTube channel taken away at this point, when transhumanism is part of the conversation out there and becoming mainstream. I did feel that anger. I was like, it really does. Yeah. It really was an actual takedown and
it's
censorship.
A big part of it.
Yeah, because I had almost 10 years. I mean, you and I both on Canary Cry, but also on Face Like the Sun. About 10 years of commentary and everything on transhumanism was a big focus of just stuff we talked about biblically and everything else. So for that to be just gone is kind of like
Plus, I mean, over 250,000 followers there. Yeah. We had tens of thousands of followers on the Canary Cry YouTube. Both of those YouTubes got banned, taken down for saying things that are now coming out that were true. I mean, we got banned for saying true things too early, basically. Yeah. And as much as people will comment and try to make us feel better that getting banned from YouTube and Twitch and stuff is like a badge
of honor. You guys should stand proud. Yeah. And there's an element
we try our
of that,
hardest to be positive, but it really has taken a huge toll on the show in a lot of ways. Including, there's also the shadow banning, stuff like that, which is very real. And I felt a little bit, I don't know, simpatico with some other pretty large content creators recently talking about shadow banning and how real it is. There was a lawyer, a Section 230 lawyer who was coming out and was like, yeah, actually shadow banning is a totally real thing. Here's how to spot it. Here's how you, see it in the numbers. Here's how you do this. And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, okay. He's just
We're
exactly
not crazy.
describing.
Because look, that's the one thing I'm really so happy to hear that, because when it was happening, 2015, I mean, I'm just telling you the timing. After Flat Earth, they just started to manipulate the algos and just sort of beat you down. And it was a long, slow process. So between 2015-ish and 2021, when they actually just completely cut it off, it did feel like that scene from Star Wars where the walls are coming in. It's like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
They hit the freeze button, basically.
Yeah, and the growth of the channel and the reach and everything just got squeezed until they... So there you go. There's a little bit. That's just kind of us getting to commiserate, because just kind of where we are right now. And we are feeling weird today. Today's a weird day. I'm feeling weird. Yeah. And part of that is today trending on Twitter, and it's really funny because Gons and I were having a conversation before the show, about producership and where we are and what's going on, and we're like, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about PayPal shutting off their accounts, banning their accounts, blah, 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 based on their views or their whatever. And we're like, oh, man, it's just a matter of time. We know we're next. I mean, we know we're on the list somewhere. Yeah. It's just a matter of when our names come up on the list. And then, like, a minute later, I jump on Twitter. PayPal is trending. And it is just tweet after tweet after tweet of people having their PayPals turned off today or in the past couple days. A bunch of blue check marks, a bunch of conservative thinkers, a bunch of the Telegraph posted an article about it. PayPal shuts account of parents group that campaigned against school lockdowns. So, anti-lockdown people. And there's a lot of anti-pedophilia people who are getting their PayPals turned off. Like, everybody, this is just starting to happen. There's just kind of a wave happening. Yeah, and we knew this was going to happen, and we started, moving towards alternative support platforms, I guess. Yeah. But we're going to have to really jump into that. Because who knows? We just don't know. We could just wake up tomorrow and be in big trouble. And it's our own cyber pandemic.
If we still had access and direct access to, the 250,000+ people who
I'm sure there
need
were a
to
lot
know
of bots.
about this.
Yeah.
What?
I said I'm sure there were a lot of bots too.
Well, it
just to
doesn't
make myself
matter.
feel better.
That's not the point, and it's not just your channel. It's
the whole thing.
Okay, across different platforms. Yeah. So if we still had direct access to everybody, and we could send out a message that told everybody that PayPal got shut down and our platforms are blah 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 blah, all that. Then we could probably figure out a pretty quick way to pivot and tell everybody. But right now, with the way that our distribution has been squeezed, it would be very difficult to maintain the system, the value for value system, to a livable manner if it got shut off tomorrow. Yeah. Now there's people who are like on the newsletter, people who are on the text message list, people who are, who are connected directly with us. They would get the message and they would know, and that would be very helpful. But yeah, it's kind of feels a little precarious right now, I guess.
Yeah. It's kind of like, there's you build something, there's people that are following the podcast or the YouTube channel, whatever it may be, and then they just said, okay, these people that you have, the audience you have built up, we're going to just go ahead and take that and appropriate some other idea onto it,
and not tell them.
Yeah, and not tell them. There's a definite psyop happening.
Not just with the distribution of the podcast, but it also has happened with funding. So a ton of our started with Patreon, and I imagine that a lot of this is happening with PayPal already. That people's support just got canceled, and we didn't get a notification. They didn't get a notification. It just sort of secretly and quietly turned off, their subscription or their support or their, payments started timing out and not going through, stuff like that. That we've been experiencing for a little while. and which is unfortunate. But it's just the way it is. I mean, it's just the power that is held over us.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue to try to build resiliency in the system, and if there's any producers out there that have ideas or knowledge or ability to help build those things out, that would be wonderful. That would help us out a lot. But today, on Friday, the 23rd of September, it feels pretty precarious. Yeah, and that's just where we're at. That's where we're feeling. That's what I'm feeling today.
There's an interesting commentary by Paul Joseph Watson, blue check mark.
Yeah, I put this in the newsletter today.
Oh yeah. So he tweeted out a screenshot of the article. PayPal censorship marks a vicious new phase in the war on free speech. That was published on the Telegraph, UK. Mm-hmm. And his tweet was, "It's real nice for them to start talking about this now, about 5 years after PayPal started doing it, to the original canaries in the coal mine."
Dun, dun, dun. It's nice to get a little shout out from Paul
Is that a
Joseph
shout
Watson.
out? I don't know if it's a shout out. I think we'd be hijacking the shout out.
No, I mean, it's a common phrase, but it's one that we've identified with our entire careers. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, let's take a second and thank, we did have an executive producer literally come in during the show, so Let's thank them, our knight in shining armor.
Executive producers.
As you know, folks, we're on the value for value model, which means we take no corporate money whatsoever. It's a dangerous way to live, but it's the only way to keep independent news media alive and out of the clutches of the corporate system, information flow system. And they don't like it. They hate the fact that we don't take corporate money because it makes us harder to control, which means they have to do blatant things like delete our accounts and stuff
delete
like that.
all financial pathways.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But it's our producers who understand the value for value system. All it is if you get value out of what we do, you have the opportunity to put value back in. It's not mandatory. It's not nothing, but it is the value that makes it back into the system that keeps it going. So if you get value, if this show brings any value to your life, you have the opportunity to put value back in many forms, your time, your talent, or your treasure. And those producers who come in, help the show out, keep us alive, we're so very thankful for them, and we thank them. But there are executive producers who come in hot and heavy, baby, and they keep us going. It carries a heavy load for the rest of us, especially in economic times like this. And we have one coming in, and today, let's all give a rousing round of applause for executive producer Dustin H.
Dustin H., thank you for coming in.
Yes, thank you very much. Dustin H. comes in for $133. Thank you very much.
Does that make him Illuminatus?
Sure.
Illuminatus!
Mm-hmm. And that's it. That's our executive producer for the day. There's still time to produce the show, folks. If you head on over to canarycryradio.com/support, there you will find all sorts of ways to keep this show going.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
Thank you, Dustin H.
Where'd you find this?
I would just say, remember CanaryCryMeetups.com. I'm not going to go through them right now for time's sake, but we will later. CanaryCryMeetups.com. Go check it out. Go to a meetup. If there's not one near you, put one on yourself.
Yep. You want me to play the jingle or not? I can't tell.
Play the jingle.
Canary Cry Meetup.
There you go. Go do that. It's awesome. We tomorrow. Oh, I guess there is the meetup tomorrow. We should mention
that. Just mention that one, yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow there is the meetup in St. Paul, Minnesota, the Twin Cities meetup. It's at Backstory Coffee Roasters at 11:11 a.m. tomorrow. Oh, we did get a message from Chibi, who is hosting it. Do you have that ready? It was one of the speak pipes. Okay, we'll play it in the speak pipes section. But there are confirmed people. There's like 7 or 8, I think, confirmed attendees there. So if you're in the Twin Cities area and you were worried maybe nobody would be there and it would be weird to just show up, no, definitely show up. There's going to be a nice group of Canarians there waiting for you. And go to canarycrimemeetups.com for the info.
I think I got it here. Hold on. Do you want me to play it real quick? Because I got it.
Yeah, play it now.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Hello, Canary Cry peeps. Sorry for the background noise. This is Miranda, also known as Chibi. Can't wait to see y'all tomorrow, the 24th of Saturday at Backstory Coffee Roasters in St. Paul at 11:11 a.m. I repeat, in St. Paul, not Minneapolis, St. Paul. If you look it up on the GPS, you might get 2 locations. It's the one in St. Paul. The other one takes you to some weird building anyway. Yeah, there's going to be about 7 of us there, including myself. And if there's any stragglers out there who did not reserve a place, feel free to show up and reveal yourselves. See y'all there. Bye.
Reveal yourself. Thank you very much, Chibi.
Yeah,
there you go. If you're anywhere in a drivable distance of St. Paul, Minnesota, I don't know why my video keeps turning off, Gon. So if it happens, I'm trying to keep an eye on it. But okay, and I'm seeing some people in the chat asking, hey, is there a Portland meetup? Hey, I'm in Mexicali, places like that. If there's not one already, put one on yourself. There's been Portland meetups that bunches of people have shown up to. So there are people. There's just a host who hasn't volunteered to put one on. So send us an email at canarycryradio@gmail.com if you want to hold one, and people will show up. We'll tell you. We'll put it on the website. It's all good. And real quick, Guns, I just want to read a couple of reviews. I'm going to do that throughout because we did get 5 or 6 reviews this week, which is very nice. Makes me very happy. Yeah. And I'll just run through a couple short ones right now. 5 stars from McGuffey says, refreshingly different. Just found out about this show. I'm really enjoying it. Definitely not just boring news talk. Thank you very much, McGuffey.
Thank you. McGuffey.
We also have one from North Gates. This is a Canadian. Ooh, 5 stars. Best current news delivery out there. Staying current with events du jour has never been more enjoyable than listening to you guys. Great format and having a way to make us feel relaxed while the daily insanity unfolds. Thank you very much, North Gates.
Thank you. Yeah, this is really that meme with the dog, the happy dog with the burning surrounding. I mean, we're kind of that. We're just like podcasting and laughing.
Yeah, we're okay. Yeah. All right, there you go. And go leave us a rating and a review on Apple Podcasts. Believe it or not, the actual podcasting platforms are right now the safest platforms for this show. I know a lot of people like the video. We're working on getting video in the podcast format. But those who just tune in on like YouTube or the video online platforms, just know that if we disappear, you can still catch the show on the podcast players. It's the most reliable right now. And leaving us a rating and a review is very helpful. All right, Gons, let's get on with the show. We've been kind of taking some time here. Will you tell me where you are on your timer? I forgot to start mine.
Oh.
Are we at?
We are 10 minutes behind. If you want to
so
know.
We're at the third 10.
No, we are.
And at the third 10-minute mark.
No, we're about to. That's about to expire.
We're about to hit the 20-minute.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to do this so I can catch up, and we'll deal with it later. Okie dokie, folks.
That was not right.
All right.
Hold on. Let's do it again. Set it up. I stepped all over you. That was disastrous. Do it again.
Oh, no. All right. So it's time for the Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
There we go. Much better. It's time for the Flippy update, folks. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that have been taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We've been checking out Flippy for over 6 years now as a mainstay of our work. Just want to mention that while we see Flippy updates popping up all over the place.
I tried to tell you.
We're exploring how these adorable robot arms are going to take over the world and just how there's nothing we can do about it. DailyMail.co.uk. Listen to this. They're wrapping up 6 years of Flippy updates in one article. Meet
Hijacked.
Flippy.
Again.
Again, meet Flippy, Sippy, and Chippy. These robots can cook fries, pour drinks, and make tortilla chips at fast food restaurants amid U.S. labor crunch. Yeah, no kidding, DailyMail. What, you been listening to the show for 6 years? Whether it's creating perfectly cooked fries and burgers and pouring soda without any spills, robot chefs are venturing further in the $296 billion U.S. fast food industry amid a nationwide labor shortage. Miso Robotics. Miso!
Yeah. For
What
those
was
of you
the other
listening
miso?
the military, I forget. It was in the last episode.
I know.
Somebody's got it. Yeah, I forget what it
Miso
was.
Robotics, a California-based company, built a kitchen robot called Flippy that was able to cook 300 burgers per day and then expanded into whipping up fries with the second version. The fast casual chain Wing Zone in May inked a deal with Miso to install Flippy 2 in all future restaurant locations. Jack in the Box is deploying that same machine along with the company's Sippy bot, which quickly pours, labels, and seals beverages orders this year. Oh my gosh. This year with a goal of getting into 10 high-volume locations in 2023. And Miso has another machine called Chippy that can cook up Chipotle's tortilla chips, which will be integrated into Southern California locations at the Mexican restaurant this year. The robots, which have been in development for 6 years. That means we, since day one, have been following Flippy. Use a combination of cameras, artificial intelligence, and predictable mechanized motions to perform repetitive tasks that service workers might find to be boring or worse.
Yeah, so
boring or worse. Oh no!
Real quick, just to catch up on that information. So this is Miso Robotics. We pointed it out in the last episode. MISO, and I don't know that there's a public connection here, but it's certainly more of a unspoken. Military Information Support Operations, MISO, which is the Pentagon's moniker for psychological operations, and that was published in what's the outlet here? Boy, I lost the.
I don't know, but our producers who get the newsletter have it right in their email box.
WAPO. It was Washington Post. That's right.
It was Washington Post. Miso is the colloquial name for the Pentagon's psychological operations.
And so now they have the robot company, Miso Robotics, and they have their Flippy, Chippy, and Sippy, and
which we've followed over the years.
Does that mean we've helped the intelligence ops, this particular one, by making podcasts about it for 6 years? Is how they got there.
Apparently, I've just been a tool of the Pentagon's psychological operations. That was part of the point I was going to make here. Flippy, Chippy, and Sippy. Listen to this. Flippy, Chippy, and Sippy never need to take breaks, and they don't complain about working conditions. Now,
that might be a direct.
It is a threat, is what it is. Because listen, they give all the usual things here, and I'll show you. I'm going to skip this one. They talk about Flippy 2. You have to pay per month. Quote, we realized for a robotic solution to be a real solution for our customers. This is the CEO of Miso. Okay, so their customers are corporations. It had to have a really high customer return on investment, which meant it had to take a meaningful amount of labor off the table. So that quote specifically means we need to get rid of the need for humans to a significant degree. We need to make humans inferior, not just inferior, but significally inferior to benefit corporations, our customers, in his words.
We've been
and then, hold
out
on.
Okay.
So then, and match that with the sentence before, saying Flippy, Chippy, and Sippy never need to take breaks and they don't complain about working conditions. So far, this has been a sales tactic for corporations. You don't need humans. Humans are pesky. They unionize. They complain when it's too hot or unsafe in a working environment. And don't worry, we've devoted our product line and our corporation to making enough human labor obsolete. And keep that in mind as we go into some of what they're about to say. So, sorry, you had a comment?
No, I was just going to say that part of what we've seen reported about Flippy the whole time and we called it out as part of the lie, was the fact that, hey, there's humans still involved here, you know? And we pointed out the absurdity on one of the first Flippy reports where they're like, oh, it can flip burgers on its own. There's still a human, though, because you got to put the burger in the bun. And we were like, that's ridiculous.
You're going to love the quote.
Okay,
You're going to love the quote.
Great.
Let me go into it. The National Restaurant Association reports that 65% of restaurant owners say that finding workers is their main problem. Amid the pandemic's aftermath and ongoing worker protests, remember, the pandemic was seen as putting power back into workers' hands. That's why we're currently now in a manufactured recession. The industry is dealing with demands for higher wages and more benefits. Oh, people want a living wage to devote their time and their life to a company, and they want to be able to just live a normal life. How dare they? A push to unionize and still recovering downtown locations that were decimated by COVID lockdowns. Remember, COVID lockdowns being a result of government decisions.
We'll hear more from the leader later.
Oh, and we'll hear much more about that later on in the show. So, you know, it wasn't COVID. It was the COVID lockdowns that created this issue.
Sure.
Even without robots being deployed in a widespread way at America's 200,000 fast food locations, many chains, including McDonald's, Burger Kings, and Starbucks, already have contactless kiosks. I'm going to skip the rest of that. Kiosks or mobile payment options that bypass human interaction. Quote, with over 100 new shops in our current development pipeline, our technology roadmap relies heavily on strategic partnerships with companies like Miso, a pioneer in the field of food automation, said David Bloom, COO of WingZone.
I think they misspelled Bloom here, unless he has 3 O's in his name.
They did add
Bloom. This is a new transhuman thing. They just add letters.
Yeah. Let's see here. They tell a little story about like how the robot glitched or something like that. And
sure.
They say, oh, we still need humans to fix the glitching robot. But then they say that Miso provides the support. So it's not a, so there's no job within the restaurant to fix it. It's a Miso thing.
So the hacking thing has always been a concern. If somebody hacks the thing, then you got robot arms across the country doing...
No, Miso's here to help. Don't
Miso's
worry.
Here to help. They got the cyber wall there.
Listen to this quote.
Okay.
Here's your quote. This is an enhancement, not a replacement, Ali Nemat, Jack's vice president of operations services, told the Washington Post. Our fry person is getting promoted, and Flippy is their assistant.
Oh, is that how they relay that? That's a nice connotation.
The robot is getting the fry cook promoted to what? To robot babysitter, apparently. Anyways.
This is madness, man. And
it is madness.
This is also having a competent robot assistant is not just sort of science fiction, but part of the transhumanist part, because it's so inconvenient that it's out of the body. Just put it in the body,
I just love in the article they say, no, don't worry, this won't replace anybody. Hey, but also we built it to replace as many workers as possible. No, but it's here to help humans. But really, you could replace like a ton of people with this robot. It's going to save you a bunch of money. Okay, cool. Oh, no, our fry cooks aren't fired. They're promoted. This is supposed to help you, fry cook. Now stop complaining about working conditions. Stop threatening to unionize. Stop asking for a living wage, because all it'll take is one more Flippy to replace you, baby. Now sit down, shut up, and make your burgers. That's the message.
Warm and safe in my people's zoo.
That's the message from Miso and Chippy, Flippy, and Sippy. Cute names, diabolical death machines for maybe not our physical bodies, but for our spiritual and economic well-being. Thanks, Flippy. Moving on.
I'm for the robots.
It's going to be sad. See all those people for the robots. And then not just the hack that can take down an entire network of robot arms, but if they just die, like if Miso just stops working, then all these places, the more and more this becomes out there, they're just going to have a bunch of kitchens with dead robot arms.
And the only solution for normal people with jobs that are being threatened by robots? If you can't beat them, join them. And they're going to do that now.
Transhuman, make way for the Homo superior. You can't take the
Crispr.
You can't take the
Cas9.
Wired.com. Yeah, the many flavors of transhumanism here. The headline: there's new proof CRISPR can edit genes inside human bodies. New proof.
New proof.
I thought they already knew that they can do this, but apparently...
we got proof. Now we got new proof.
New proof. Says this: the CRISPR components can't naturally get into cells on their own, so Intellia, like the intelligentsia, the intelligence agency maybe, Intellia uses a delivery system. Did I skip something? No. Okay. It just starts like this. All right. Let me just start at the headline or subheadline. New proof CRISPR can edit genes inside human bodies. The technique had largely been limited to editing patients' cell in a lab. New research shows promise for treating disease more directly. The CRISPR components can't naturally get into cells on their own, so Intellia uses a delivery system called lipid nanoparticles, essentially tiny fat bubbles, to ferry them to the liver. In Intellia's trials, patients receive a one-time IV infusion of these CRISPR-laden nanoparticles into the veins in their arms. Since blood passes through the liver, lipid nanoparticles can easily travel there from the bloodstream. In the liver, the nanoparticles are taken up by cells called hepatocytes. I think I'm saying that right. Hepatocytes.
There is a crazy connection to this, I'm just realizing. So continue, please.
Once inside these cells, the nanoparticles break down and let CRISPR get to work, editing out the problematic genes. In both diseases, a genetic mutation allows an aberrant protein to run amok and cause damage. In hereditary angioedema, am I saying that right? Those are hard words. Angioedema. Intellia's CRISPR treatment is designed to knock out the KLKB1 gene in liver cells, which reduces the production of kallikrein protein. Too much kallikrein leads to the overproduction of another protein called bradykinin, which is responsible for recurring, debilitating, and potentially fatal swelling attacks. According to an Intellia press release, before receiving a CRISPR infusion, patients experience 1 to 7 swelling attacks per month. During a 16-week observation period, the CRISPR infusion reduced those attacks by an average of 91%. And it gets into some more details here, but yeah.
Lipid nanoparticles, huh?
Yeah.
So that's what they're saying. They're saying, oh, we now we can change human DNA with CRISPR because of lipid nanoparticles.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because we all did we all had quite the crash course education in lipid nanoparticles in the past couple of years, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. What an interesting connection.
I know what you're talking about, by the way. I'm not just playing along here. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, he knows.
Quote,
he knows.
What we know is that when you edit a cell, it will stay edited for its life. There's no way to undo that. And then there's turnover. The question is, well, where do the new cells come from? In the case of the liver, it comes from other hepatocytes, or hepatocytes, says Leonard. We think once you've got it in the upstream cell from which everything else follows, it's forever. Which is a point that we've talked about with CRISPR since the beginning of tracking CRISPR, that once you edit the gene, there's no going back. It's like it's edited, forever edited.
Right. There's no undo button.
There's no undo. Yeah. There's no Control Z or whatever. Yeah. You know, who's this Leonard guy? Real quick, just to clarify for those listening. Where did it go? Sorry, I'm trying to find some stuff. Well,
it's okay. I was
can't find it.
Just as an interesting update. We could save this for another thing, but I'll just say it without passing comment. There was a Red Cross statement about how they are taking blood donations from vaccinated individuals, but nobody should be concerned because the vaccine doesn't enter the bloodstream. So it's not a concern when it comes to, blood donations, things like that. This is interesting how that kind of contrasts with what we're being told about lipid nanoparticles in this article about how they
it's in the bloodstream.
Specifically are the things that bring the vaccine into the bloodstream.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting. I might have to look into that a little bit more.
Yeah. So CRISPR, more proof that it can edit you. And I think they're planning to do that to a large population. I feel like we've talked about this at the time, but COVID was the big shakeup, shake everything up and then let things settle down in new places. And, genetics is definitely one of those things because prior to COVID, first off, the public conversation about genetics wasn't as fervent. It was out there, but it wasn't like everyone was talking about the craziness of editing your DNA and stuff like that.
Right.
But then it happened, and then now there's a big divide about what to do.
Yeah.
So the Economist.com also had this article here. After fallow decades, neuroscience is undergoing a renaissance. A renaissance, Basil. The Economist, of course, the outlet that I believe at one point was owned by the Rockefellers, I'm going to say. Could be wrong about the detail. It might have been the Rothschilds. And it says this, when minds change, so do brains. And the opposite is also true. Things which change brains and central nervous systems or the behavior of specific types of neurons and supporting cells within those structures can also change minds for better or worse. When brains age or are damaged or are diverted with recreational drugs, minds alter too. Sometimes entire personalities shift. This means that drugs and other treatments that target neurons can be used to address both physical diseases, neural degeneration, for example, and mental ones. Okay, The Economist saying targeting neurons in your brain can change everything.
It's kind of an interesting, mind over matter type of thing, but in the scientific way, not in the woo-woo way.
Not woo-woo. It's we have the tools. We can monitor the actual pixels of those changes.
Yeah.
100 years ago, a single discipline of neuropsychiatry dominated the study and care of brain dysfunction. A schism emerged starting in the 1930s. Today, the neurology department that deal with organic dysfunction of the nervous system and the psychiatry department, which treat human minds, remain apart. Many people believe that a merger of the two is long overdue. Hey, that rhymes. This becomes more important as the biological ties to mental disorders such as depression and anxiety become apparent, as thoughts and feelings, and thus the way the brain has been wired, have a role to play within the brain. They too play a role in disease.
Interesting.
This is all the woke stuff. Doesn't that make perfect sense now? Why they politicize that whole thing? Feelings, facts over feelings, the two sides.
It's also got an interesting combination of faith healing too. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like a science-y version of if you believe, you'll get your miracle and get healed or something.
Yeah. The science informing both fields is at the same time advanced and also quite primitive. The brain is so complex that scientific understanding of it can seem decades behind than that of other organs. Okay. As well as its billions of neurons, the brain boasts similar numbers of non-neural cells known as glia, which provide the insulation to keep neural currents separate, as well as the nutrients needed for neurons to generate those currents at the immune response and waste disposal services the brain needs to stay healthy. Glial cells even help prune away the unwanted connections in the brain during development. The story of the... Yeah?
Those glial cells, that's interesting. I don't know if you remember this, Gons, but long ago, what are they called? They're called the star cells. Doesn't glial have something to do with stars?
Yeah, they look like the shape of stars.
Yeah. And there was some interesting connections to some trippy stuff. They were doing some pineal glands with the glial cells, and it's our connection to the whatever.
It's like the layers of the membrane in the brain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the astrocyte, known collectively as the astroglia, star-shaped glial cells in the brain and spinal cord. So yeah, that was the connection. Neurons talk to each other across gaps called synapses, places where a signal that has been transmitted electronically along the body of one cell is translated into a chemical message for transmission into the next one. More than 100 of these neurotransmitters have been discovered so far, but although some, such as serotonin and dopamine, have become household names, there's still much work to be done to understand how they and their more obscure classmates operate. In the second half of the 20th century, doctors discovered a range of psychiatric drugs. I get into some stuff here. Time to change your mind. This was interesting. New approaches. So we're talking about the new approaches. We know about the history. We've been talking about it for a long time. New approaches include neuroimmunology, which targets the immune cells of the brain, gene therapy, which delivers working genes for those that are broken, and revived interest in psychedelics, neuromodulation, and precision medicines based around genetic or molecular pathways. Yeah. Other novel approaches such as gene editing, stem cell transplants, and RNA therapies could also lead to new treatments, as could studies of recreational drugs which try to gain insight and therapeutic approaches from their manifestly mind-altering power.
That is, they are specifically referring to the sort of previously shunned idea, but I'm talking about by the mainstream. What they're referring to there is like ayahuasca and mushrooms and psychedelics having some sort of healing property in the brain. And, this has been, in the case of ayahuasca, that's been sort of the point of it for thousands of years or whatever. All the indigenous people in their ayahuasca ceremonies, it was considered that it has actual healing properties. It's a healing thing. And that kind of made it into the psychedelic culture where mushrooms and ayahuasca and other entheogens, as they're called now, are actually, healing medicines. And here we are in The Economist, one of the most straightforward, kind of boring facts, fact of the matter publications, being like, oh yeah, this is the state of neuroimmunology, is psychedelics can heal your brain and thus heal you from diseases. It's a very interesting manifestation of what Carl Teichrieb called the age of re-enchantment.
Yeah.
Using science to re-enchant the things that were formerly mystical.
Yeah, The Economist on the Harvard media list, the ownership list, says The Economist Newspaper Limited, the parent company of the Economist Group, is a private company and none of its shares are listed.
Love it.
That's good.
Even better.
Yeah. Anonymous investors behind The Economist here. Psychiatry is undergoing a rethink with efforts to improve classification and diagnosis of disease and through closer ties to neurobiology. Investors, biotech firms, and forward-thinking pharma companies are showing renewed interest in neuroscience. Drug pipelines are filling up.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Got to get those drug pipelines filled up. Interesting. Biotech firms. Again, referring straight back to Biden's executive order, making biotechnology one of the top priorities.
Oh, it just makes sense. That's why he said this.
We beat pharma this year. We beat pharma this year.
We beat pharma into submission.
We beat them by
the bioeconomy.
We beat them by giving them all our money. That's how we destroy them. We give them all the money. That follows a lot of the Biden logic, honestly.
Yeah, it does.
Is that good? You got that wrapped up? Because I got one that kind of ties into this.
Sure, yeah. Go for it.
Oh, you're going to love it. Let's head on over to MIT.edu.
Okay, the official Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Okay.
That's right. Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They have this fun little deal here. Sell Rover This was almost the Flippy update, by the way. Cell Rover exploring and augmenting the inner world of the cell. Beep, bop, boop, boop, boop. And the headline image here has sort of a computery looking model of a cell with what looks to be like a satellite floating around inside of it.
Satellite on wheels, though. It's got wheels on it.
Oh, it's even cooler. It's like a Mars rover. Actually, we'll get into it. Researchers at the MIT Media Lab have designed a miniature antenna that can operate wirelessly inside of a living cell, opening up possibilities in medical diagnostics and treatment and other scientific processes because of the antenna's potential for monitoring and even directing cellular activity in real time.
Oh, good. Just little cell conductors and surveillors.
Monitoring and even directing cellular activity. They're talking about nanobots that literally can take over your cell. Here's a quote. The most exciting aspect of this research is we are able to create cyborgs.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
At a cellular scale. They're not even talking about turning the human into a cyborg.
I tried to tell you.
They're talking about turning individual cells of your body into individual cyborgs that can be controlled by machines, says Deblina Sarkar, assistant professor and AT&T career development chair.
Gee.
You
keep reading. The title keeps going.
Y'all want AT&T involved in your cyborg cells? The MIT Media Lab and head of the Nano Cybernetic Biotrek Lab. Love it. Quote, we are able, she says, to fuse the versatility of information technology at the level of cells, the building blocks of biology.
Oh, that's why they want to build back better. It makes sense. They want to build us back better as cybernetic symbiotes.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
A paper describing the research was published today in the journal Nature Communications. The technology, named Cell Rover by the researchers, represents the first demonstration of an antenna that can operate inside a cell and is compatible with 3D biological systems. Typical bioelectronic interfaces, Sarkar says, are millimeters or even centimeters in size and are not only highly invasive, but also fail to provide the resolution needed to interact with single cells wirelessly, especially considering that changes to even one cell can affect a whole organism. The antenna, developed by Sarkar's team, is much smaller than a cell. In fact, in the team's research with eyesight cells, the antenna represented less than 0.05% of the cell volume, putting it well below a size that would intrude upon and damage the cell. That is an extraordinarily small machine. Finding a way to build an antenna of that size to work inside a cell was a key challenge. And it goes on and on. It gets quite dense about the sort of technicality of it. One of the interesting parts about it was they said, with electromagnetic communication, wireless communication in its traditional form, electromagnetic waves can really cause a lot of damage to cells. And you're like, wait. We've just been told for years that 5G is
5G
safe
doesn't do anything. It's
Wi-Fi
safe.
isn't a problem. It's all. And here they're just like, any electromagnetic wave is pretty damaging to a cell. Okay, well, and so what they did was convert the electromagnetic signals into
acoustic waves.
Yeah, acoustic waves. Yeah, so it's all done through magnetic acoustic waves, which is interesting when you consider, the acoustic weaponry that we've talked about, how music,
the acoustic version's always more mellow, man. That's what they figured out.
how sound waves and things like that can affect the body and stuff like that. It's just interesting connections all over the place. But instead of using electromagnetic waves, they use sort of magnetoacoustic waves. So they're basically little speakers, tiny little cell speakers that go inside your body and can control cells. And of course, they give the usual breakdown of how this is going to cure everything and how this is, going to cure cancer. Bring us into a
degenerative diseases.
Yeah, a new age of being able to control our biology. And, we'll just be living some sort of futuristic forever lives because of the little nanobots that we put into our cells. But there you go. Cell Rover. Folks, it's good for you. Don't question it. Just take your nanobots, sit down, and stop complaining.
Yeah, and to the point of that we've repeated before, Dr. Hugo de Garis, who we talked to many years ago, he was talking about how if there are aliens, they go inward, like they go into the miniature, and
right.
You can see all the propaganda. It says here the researchers named their intracellular antenna technology Cell Rover to invoke, like that of a Mars rover, its mission to explore a new frontier.
Interesting. As above, so below comparison there. Here's a quote that we can kind of sums it up there for us. Quote, "This opens up unprecedented opportunities for extremely precise diagnostics, therapeutics, and drug discovery, as well as creating a new direction at intersection between biology and electronic devices." I ask you once again, folks, are you ready to become cyborg?
You thought that was a joke.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Real serious question.
Uh-huh. All right. You got anything before we thank some people?
Yeah, so real quick, there was a video here that was published on Jason Calacanis's Twitter, which is blue check mark. So that's all we need to know. And I guess it's an example of Apple AR, that's augmented reality. And, the comment is like, it's going to change everything. And it's got this sort of, it's inside of a room. You see a holographic, because augmented reality, you kind of have like things in front of you that aren't there. There's a whole body, and you can kind of flip between the epidermis and the muscle layer and the bone layer, and move organs around, and just the whole shebang, where you can really meticulously look at every part of your body and isolate it and examine it and all this kind of stuff. And to the stories that we've just read, really, the mapping of your body to very precise levels. The tools, this is like the utility of that kind of technology. And, it probably costs a lot of money to get your body scanned to that level. But also, why would you want your body scanned to that level? I mean,
was this actually of his body, or is it just like a body?
I don't know. I think it's just a body. This is like an example. Okay. But, he's making the point that it's going to change everything. Apple's AR. Because Apple's been very quiet with the whole AR and VR and that whole front. So when they come out with stuff, I'm sure it's going to be revolutionary.
Yeah, they have been in what tech bros love to call monk mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, monk mode.
They don't tell you exactly what they're working on, but oh my gosh, it'll change your life.
Well, maybe that's why they keep silencing us, because we keep telling people about it.
We're not supposed away the to secrets. Tell people about
it. All right. Yeah. Well, you can try to measure every cell, but they won't measure the amount of party in your life. Is that? I have no idea how that.
No, that's
connects,
great. That works well.
Okay. Go to canarycry.party, put it in your URL, hit enter. Canarycry.party is a website with a tree of links that leads to everything from where to listen to the show, watch the show, how to produce the show, connect with us and the community.
That's right. Go check it out. Canarycry.party. It's a wonderful place filled with all sorts of resources for you. Like I mentioned at the start of the show, we are on Rockfin now. We've had people suggesting Rockfin to us for quite some time, and we actually we're working on it. Getting a Rockfin account is really not the easiest possible thing to do. There's all sorts of like you got to like talk to a representative, and they got to kind of look at you and see if you're worth their time, type of thing. Well, we finally got our Rockfin account up, so go follow us there. I don't know. You know, we just got to be on all the things now, because here and there we're gonna start getting kicked off things more frequently, if that's even possible. But yeah, so just go follow us on Rockfin. The fun thing about Rockfin that helps us sort of future-proof against the PayPal apocalypse is that they do have funding kind of built in. So like if you want to produce the show, you're able to do it right there on Rockfin. You don't need to rely on PayPal or whatever. So go check it out. Go follow us on Rockfin, and hopefully it works out well. Is anybody over there on the Rockfin right now?
2 people.
We got 2 people. Okay, there you go. Well,
it is free. I know that there is a paywall with some of the Rockfin content. But we just kept everything free.
It is free, right?
So.
I think we tried to make sure that the value for value is applied over there, and we're not sort of requiring payment, but we're still kind of figuring out the format over there.
I think we did get that format because there was a whole process to go through. Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so you can still produce over there if you want, but it's also free for those who don't want to produce the show. There you go. Okay, well, there's also other stuff there. You can go listen to Ravel. It's a good podcast. Go listen to that. It's a good podcast. Go do that. You can also subscribe to Canary Cry clips on YouTube. That's this show broken down into little shareable clips. It's a wonderful way to review information, and thank you very much to our producers who keep that going. And you can also sign up for our text message alert system right there at canarycry.party. You just put in your text message. We don't take your name. We don't take any information. We don't, of course, sell it. We don't do nothing. All we do is send you alerts when we are going live, so you don't miss a show. And this is kind of a direct connection to you. Another excellent way that we can let you know if some sort of apocalyptic, end of Canary Cry event happens. We'll probably put out an alert on the text message system as well. So go do that. All you got to do is text the word Canary to 877-740-3226, and that'll automatically put you on the list. Okay, other than that, Gons, let's thank some producers.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
Whoa, my connection, our Skype connection, just went completely bonkers when you did that. It sounded like some kind of heavy metal robot version.
I do have about a minute or so of just our experience, a minute and a half of our experience.
Why don't you do that? Yeah, because I'm catching up on some producer stuff right now.
So before the show, this is just a little inside baseball, as I've heard Alex Jones talk about. Before the show, we've been having connection issues on our platform that we're using to, Basil and I get our sound right and everything. And he was testing some things out, and I think I'm almost convinced that you did this purposely to torture me.
Yeah, I'm
convinced that you summoned some entity to try to destroy the show or something. I don't know what was going on. But here's about a minute and a half of the experience, a little behind the scenes of what we're dealing with. And by the way, the actual event, the sounds were different. I tried to tame the noise to make sure none of y'all get ear problems.
If we played the noise at the level and experience that you were presented with, we would lose all listeners at once. Yes. Nobody would stay here. Right. But you tweaked it so as to not scare anybody away as much, at least.
Yeah. So here it goes. No. Lol.
Check.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that do anything?
Other than the explosion sounds. Maybe a little bit. The echo is certainly gone, so I guess that's the more important thing.
What is the thing that this did? So that means I need to put this.
Oh, why do you torture?
Are you? I can't hear you. Talk real quick.
It's like torture.
Oh my gosh.
Be gone in the name of Jesus.
Better.
Yes.
Better?
Yes. There's no echo now. The demon is gone.
Okay. Good news is it's definitely hardware.
Oh, I knew it was hardware. I can hear it.
Yeah, it's easily fixable. It's a total mess back there, so I'm not going to be able to fix it super quick. So if we can just live with this today.
And we are living with it today.
And we're living with it. We're living with it, folks.
I could have made it a little louder, I guess. There was a point there in the middle that was just, sounded like the UFO was landing on the house or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, those were the noises. The volume was such that even I wasn't wearing my headphones, thank God, but it was still kind of terrifying to hear how loud my headphones were screaming this crazy noise. So I guess to wrap it up, you're a hero, Gons, and good news is we did track down one of the main issues that we've been having.
You can apologize to my wife. Always talks about how deaf I am now, and so you can just send her an email or something. Say, hey.
Oh my gosh, I am infamously deaf now too. If I'm in a restaurant and it's kind of like a noisy restaurant or something, and the waitress comes up or whatever and asks me a question, I have to do put my hand behind my ear, come on, come closer, I can't hear you. So we need
great.
Anyways, thank you very much for that, Gons. Yes, the battle rages on with getting our act together here. Yep. All right, but we're able to do that with the support of our producers, and like I've said before, we take no corporate money whatsoever. I do not recommend this to anyone who values sort of financial stability, but it is our way of fighting against what we do consider sort of spiritual principalities of advertising, the mind trap that is the corporate influence and corporate money within independent media, the brand friendliness, the bending the knee and kissing the ring to big platforms who use advertisement as the justification for kicking people off the platform and manipulating the algorithms. Whether or not you care that actual advertisements are played on the show is only a tiny piece of it, folks. A bigger part of it is that doing what we would need to do to become advertiser friendly would completely ruin the show. And so it is up to the producers of the show. If you get value out of it, it can only exist in its current form through the support of the producers. And that's why we thank them. We did thank executive producer Dustin H. earlier on, and we still do that again. We did have a couple more executive producers come in, Gons, and I do want to thank them heartily.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's thank executive producer. You know her, you love her. It's Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Dame Lynn, thank you very much.
Where'd you find this?
And Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes, has a note here. Totally love you guys. Thank you and God bless. Thank you, Dame Lynn.
Dame Lynn. Thank you.
Yeah, and Dame Lynn came in through the Linktree donation platform, which has a different fee structure. So I'm unable to see what her original producership was, which worries me just a tad, because often Dame Lynn has wanted to keep her amount private, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to do that here or not. because we can't see the original donation amount. What do you think? Do you have any?
I don't know what the number is to begin with right now.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
I think we're good. And it's better to lean on anonymity.
Here's what I'll do. I'm going to keep it. Undisclosed for this episode.
Sure.
And then Dame Lynn, let us know if you would like us to disclose it or not. I'd be happy to credit you next episode as well. So thank you very much, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Thank you, Dame Lynn.
And we also had an executive producer come in. Again, this was executive producer Andrew M.
Andrew M., thank you for coming in with the executive producership.
Where'd you find this?
And Andrew M. came in with a nice round number. Just a reminder for those who produce the show. If you come in with a nice round number, that's your signal to us that you would prefer we don't disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, you make it a funky number. Some people put 33 cents, 77 cents, something like that, just to kind of send a fun little message. So thank you very much to our executive producers. Again, that's Dustin H., Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes, and Andrew... what was it? M. Andrew M. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Fun day. We actually have a couple of supply droppers who came in.
Hey.
Supply drop.
That's right. CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Come check it out. This is a place where you can support the show for $33 a month, and that's what you're doing. You are producing the show, but when you sign up over there, you are saying, yes, Basil, yes, Guns, send me my free gifts 4 times a year, where we create brand new producer-produced, artist-designed, made-in-America Canary Cry News Talk gear. And there's one just getting ready to go into the mail for our 3rd quarter. And as a reminder, sign up now, because our 4th quarter supply drop is when the Canary Cry calendar goes out. And the Canary Cry calendar is the most beloved Canary Cry gear that goes out every year during the 4th quarter. And it's a calendar filled with artists, producer art, which is awesome. And it's chock-a-block full of dates, special dates and holidays and things. Not things that you'd see on a regular calendar, but of course, you'll be reminded of certain CIA events and UFO sightings and even Canary Cry News Talk specific dates, like when Stabman was invented or when
Dinosaur Cry,
Dinosaur Day,
anniversaries of people who have met because of the show.
It's specifically, don't we have a special one today?
Tomorrow.
Okay, well, on the Canary Cry calendar, if you had it, you would see that it is a very special day. It is Cool Runningsman and Senjess's wedding anniversary. These are 2 Canarians.
The Canary couples.
The Canary Cry couples. They met during the show. They met up at meetups, and now they are belovedly wed. And I do have a note here. I'm just going to read it real quick. Okay. This didn't come with a producership or anything. But I'm going to read it anyways. Greetings, Canary boys. Cool Runningsman here. If everyone is looking at their Canary Cry calendar, they might notice a certain event taking place this Saturday. It happens to be about a certain event that took place last year involving a couple of canaries that just so happened to have gotten married. That's right, folks. It is Senjess and I's first wedding anniversary. And we've never had a fight. Thanks so much, Basil and Gons, for your virtuous effort at bringing the deconstruction of news with biblical views week after week, and for spurring the Commie Cry community that led to our blissful marriage. God bless you folks and the producers and listeners alike for keeping this value train running. Peace be the journey, Mon. Cool Runnings, Mon. There you go. So happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
To Cool Runningsman and Senjess. Make sure you say happy anniversary to them. And get your Canary Cry calendar by going to CanaryCrySupplyDrop.com. Sign up now. Don't wait, because you won't enjoy waiting. Waiting's not fun. I lost my document. Here it is. And we had a couple people who signed up for the supply drop. One of them is producer Anonymous.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Thank you very much, Anonymous. And we also have a sign up from Ashley B.
Thank you, Ashley B.
Producer Ashley B. Huzzah.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can sign up too. Just head to canarycrysupply.com. Go do it now. You won't. And let me also say this. When you sign up for the supply drop, you are not signing up to get products. You are signing up to produce the show. You are a producer of the show. The gifts are just free. They just come. But I want to make that clear because it is the monthly producers that have kept us alive recently. It's no surprise that producership has taken a hit during this economic turn in the world. And it is the collection of devoted monthly producers that get a lot of credit for keeping us alive. Of course, the producers who come in every show also get credit. But if it weren't for the supply droppers and the monthly producers, we would be in much more trouble than we are now. And so, not for nothing. If you could sign up for that, that's the type of thing that's going to keep us alive when the episode by episode producership is fluctuates as much as it does. Right. So canarycrysupply.com. All right, we got a few people to thank who came in.
Hold on. Waiting for the supply drop.
Okay.
Waiting for the supply drop.
You know what? And Subdue Light in the chat is bringing up a good point. We have been dealing with the finagling of our funding structure from all platforms, from PayPal, from Patreon. So I recommend everybody go check. If you think you are signed up for a monthly something, go check, because we've had a lot of reports with both PayPal and Patreon of people of their support getting canceled, and they not getting a notification, we not getting a notification.
Yeah, there's implausible deniability from the financial platforms.
A shadow cancellation. Yeah. A shadow cancellation of support. So just remember, I would highly recommend, if you think that you are supporting the show monthly, please go check it, because there is a non-zero chance that it got shadow canceled or whatever. Yeah. All right. Thank you for bringing that up. Chat person. What's their name? Subdue Light. Yeah. Okay, we got some people to thank.
Yep.
Here we go. Starting with producer Spears Desert.
Spears Desert, good to see you.
There he is. He's back. Thank you, Spears Desert. Comes in with 4444. That's fun. God bless you guys. Haven't been listening as often lately, but I heard about your troubles with Twitch. Oh, yeah. Still no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Keep spreading the good news in these evil times. May Jesus bless and keep y'all. Thank you very much, Spears Desert.
Thank you, Spears Desert.
Amen, indeed. We have producer Mark A coming in for a nice 3333. Today, I am a triple threat producer. Ooh. Time, talent, and treasure, baby. Love you guys. Keep up the good work. Ooh, triple threat producer. I think
this has to become a thing because, in basketball, your neutral position is the triple threat.
We need a jingle, probably once the merit badges are going, he'd get a merit badge for this.
Keep those elbows out. Yeah.
Let's see. So he did come in with his talent. We have a piece of art from Mark A. Mm-hmm. He comes in with his treasure here. Mm-hmm. He must be on one of the time producerships.
He might be doing the timestamps.
Oh, we might be doing the timestamps. Okay.
Or social media, maybe. I don't know.
Might be doing one of those things. Yeah, I have to check in. All right. Triple threat. Producer Mark A. Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it. We'll see you again.
Oh, he did a review.
Oh, he did a review.
Yes.
There you go.
There it is.
Perfect.
Thank you, Mark A. Yeah, we got to get those. Write this down. Write it down, Mark A., because when the merit badges come out, you'll want to remember this episode to get your merit badge. So write it down somewhere.
Receipts, Mark A.
Yeah. Everybody should be keeping their receipts. All right. We also have producer Benjamin S.
Benjamin S., thank you.
Yeah, he's back. Comes in with technically a round number, so I won't share it. But he does say during paint. This is crazy. Everybody is. See.
It's the Great Reset.
I felt a little weird that we had our little family talk at the top.
Yeah.
We had our little family talk. It needed to happen. We've avoided it for too long. And now I'm going through all of these producers, everybody was on the same page. It's just how the Lord works. I love it. Benjamin S. says, during Patreon time, I had all my accounts deleted and blocked. If PayPal goes down, that would not be cool at all. God will always find a way. Stay strong. Appreciation for the work you guys both do. Thank you very much, Benjamin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Means a lot.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Thank you, Benjamin S.
Yep. Next up, we've got Sir Moore of Night of the Burning Chariots on a 143 episode streak.
Best thing on 2 feet.
11. Yes, thank you very much, Sir Morph. He has a note here, says, hope everyone has a great weekend.
Thank you, Sir Morph.
Thanks, Sir Morph.
Ooh, he's close to that 144.
Yep, one more.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch, 149 episodes in a row.
Best thing on 2 feet.
1001. Amen.
Amen. And a note that says, happy to say we made it to Friday. Love you all. Love you back, Sir JC. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Love you too, Sir JC.
Just to mention,
man.
in the D Live chat, Shield Maiden for Christ says, PayPal sent me an email today that my payment is pending before sending the receipt. I hope it goes through. Why is it being reviewed? It's starting.
It's starting, yeah.
Next up, we got Sir LX Protocol V2, Night of the Berean Protocol, 79 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir LX Protocol V2.
Thank you, Sir LX Protocol. I don't think we had a note along with him. I'm just checking just in case. Can't tell. Thank you very much. If we have a note, we'll add it on the next one.
Yeah.
Next up, Nicodemus is back with a pocket full of sevens.
Thank you, Nicodemus.
Says, I just seen the greatest video on YouTube. Our friends Basil and Guns performed I'll Fly Away live.
Oh, gosh.
It keeps coming
out
up
there, huh?
Keeps coming up, huh? We lost the Face Like the Sun channel. We lost the Canary Cry channel. We lost everything. And somehow this video is still floating around.
That sounds like a CIA op. They're like, yeah, let them keep this.
People like the video.
Humiliating moment.
As like any musician, it's cringy when we watch it, but other people tend to like it. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. Stop, Nicodemus. I know these two are talented, but I didn't know to what extent. I hope you're still playing music. Always and forever. Thank you, music, Nicodemus.
Yeah. Thank you.
Next up, producer Kimberly Dubs.
Thank you, Kimberly Dubs.
Yeah, Kimberly came through the link tree, and again, the fees are kind of confusing. I think she came in with the 777. She left a note, so I think she meant to, if not. But so we're going to give it to her anyways. Says here, I would like to encourage everyone to listen to a message of warning to America from the underground church in Iran, found on Global Catalytic Ministries' YouTube channel. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in Iran right now.
Iran is popping off right now. Yeah. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you.
All right, that concludes the list of producers who came in the amount of 777 or more, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got a few people who came in under that. Let's thank them real quick, Guns.
Yep, let's do it.
We're going to start with Gail M., 174 episodes in a row.
Gail M.
Women rule.
Drunk Smash, 27 episodes in a row.
Ooh, 27, which means he's a firmament buster.
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will.
Drunk Smash will. He'll smash through it.
He's a smasher. We have Sir Darren out of the Hungry Panda, 48 episodes in a row.
Thank you, Sir Darren.
We got Veronica D, 174 in a row.
Women rule.
Appreciate it, Veronica D.
Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 198. And Sir Case of the Shield Knight, 209.
Oh yeah, Streakalicious.
And that's it. That's all the financial producers. Thank you guys so much. Many of you came in during the show, which is nice, is fantastic, and we're very grateful. Does stress us out before the show, though, but that's okay. Maybe that's our cross to bear. Okay, real quick, a couple of reviews, and then we're moving on. This one is from Stacy Dawn, 76 from the U.S. 5 stars. Awesomeness. Love this podcast. Been listening for a while now. Very informative and funny. I'm a Christian, and they connect biblical prophecies with current news. Love it. Poignant.
Thank you, Stacy Dawn.
Next
76.
one is from David Dredd. David Dredd, United States. 5 stars. Great show. I was turned on to the show by my friend. I enjoy hearing the stories and commentary. This has become my favorite podcast. Woo! Anyone who has an open mind should listen to Canary Cry. Keep up the excellent work. I enjoy your show.
Thank you, David Red.
David Red. Okay, that is it. On with the show. We are completely lost on our timeline here, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's wake up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Yeah, not a lot, but a good amount of producers today, which I appreciate that. So I don't mind.
Yes, it's nice. It's nice to catch up.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, we're gonna do COVID. We're just gonna do it.
Oh no! No, we can't.
Why?
We can't.
Why?
This one will definitely get us.
No, it won't.
Booted.
He's leaving.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, there's a punchline to the last story, but okay. You're right. We'll watch our tongues.
As we should, regardless.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, I know what you mean. All right. Well,
okay.
We're on Rockfin, so we'll keep it open, So, all right, here we go.
YouTubers, if you want us to keep doing the COVID segment on YouTube, you got to go follow us on Rockfin because it's your fault if we get kicked off. And you're going to come crying to us about being kicked off of YouTube. Go follow us on Rockfin. Actually, everybody needs to go follow us on Rockfin. So we need to show them that we were worth allowing on the platform. I'm going to post a link in the chat and everybody do it. Okay, hit that COVID jingle.
It's Corona time. COVID-19, 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 coronavirus. Vaccine, number one way.
Number one way. And we're getting this from foxnews.com. Pretty mainstream enough. Headline here, Fauci admits he knew his draconian lockdowns would have collateral negative consequences on school children. I have the clip, but before I do, I'll just mention the comments came during one day of the Atlantic Festival. The Atlantic Festival, your favorite news outlet, The Atlantic.
They have a festival?
Yeah, a festival. A 3-day convention put on by the media outlet, The Atlantic, featuring speeches and interviews from prominent members of the media. Well, you and I are not prominent members of the media.
I am a prominent member of the robotics critique media.
The government, we're not a part of the government either, and political activists. We're not even cool enough to be political activists.
Podcasters are not on the list, huh?
No. So here is the clip from Fauci.
Of course, when you make recommendations, if the primary goal, when you're dealing with a situation where the hospitals were being overrun in New York, intensive care units were being put in hallways, you have to do something that's rather draconian. And sometimes when you do draconian things, it has collateral negative consequences. Just like when you shut things down, even temporarily, it does have deleterious consequences on the economy, on the school children. You know that, but you have to make a balance.
When you do draconian things, I love it. I love that Fauci said that.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. He's set to retire. He's out of here,
done.
man.
He can loosen the tie.
He's letting it all hang out. He's like, I am out of here. I've got my job with Pfizer lined up. I don't need this job.
I love it. He's just like, look, it's tough to balance when you do draconian things. It's like, okay, yeah. We've been banned for suggesting that he would do stuff like this, but the man just said it. He said it.
And it's so funny because draconian obviously has a negative connotation.
Of course,
it refers to Draco during the Spanish Inquisition, who used horrible tortures and horrible things, and it was all justified because it's like, yeah, we can find all the witches or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
We will cut off everybody's toes because in doing so, we will cut off the toes of a witch, and totally worth it. So it's already a horrible term, and he's just using it. Like, yeah, we do draconian things. Of course, bad things are going to happen.
Well, of course, the Draco and the dragon connection there too. Just admitting that part.
Well, that is why the man was named that. Yeah. And in the article there, it mentions how, after the school lockdowns, test scores or whatever the scores they use to measure these things are the lowest they've ever been since they started taking the test scores. And
new records. We broke records in all directions.
Yeah, our children are in the worst possible position that any child has been in for 30 years now, since they've been measuring these things, which makes sense. And but you got to remember, this was pretty much all at the recommendation of one man, and that man is retiring in December, so he doesn't really care.
He made a lot of money doing what he did too.
Speaking of which, let's jump over here to the Daily Caller.
Okay.
The Daily Caller has an article here, which will not be a surprise to anybody, but should uplift our spirits to know that's going on. Not covered by a whole lot of mainstream outlets. Give
it to the Daily Caller.
Got to give it to the Daily Caller because not a whole lot of other people are covering it. The headline, Inspector General finds FDA overused emergency authorization power during COVID. Oh, surprise. The Office of the Inspector General, IG, at the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, released a report Wednesday concluding that the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, overused emergency use authorizations, EUA, during the COVID-19 pandemic. So keep in mind, this is the Inspector General of Health and Human Services. So it's not a watchdog group, or it's not a politically motivated blah, blah, blah. It's, the Inspector General of Health and Human Services, which is in conjunction with the FDA. So it's a government sort of oversight type of thing. The IG, that's the Inspector General, scrutinized the FDA's adapted EUA process during the pandemic and called for it to be more closely monitored in the future. This is the disappointing part. That's like, oh yeah, do better in the future. The report found that the FDA's expanded allowances for EUAs led to faulty COVID-19 tests reaching the market that otherwise might not have. Now, this is brilliantly done by the Daily Caller. This whole thing revolves around faulty COVID-19 tests, but the ideas apply to everything that was released under the emergency use authorizations. It is a criticism of the emergency use authorizations, which includes COVID-19 testing and other things. Early on in the COVID-19 pandemic, no tests were authorized for use by the FDA, as the agency waited for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to develop a test for the virus. As the CDC struggled to produce an effective test, the FDA accepted all EUA applications for COVID-19 tests to speed up the availability of diagnostics.
Wow.
All applications got accepted.
So even ones that are completely useless. This is like almost a money grab. And you're brand new in the labs. You could be like, "Hey, I came up with the test. Yeah, submit it."
Who knows? I mean, it was easy to. They accepted every single one. So in theory, I have no evidence that this actually happened, but in theory, somebody could make a bad test or no test at all and submit an EUA application, and they would have gotten accepted just as much as somebody who actually had a good test. According to the IG, this decision led to a, quote, record number of, quote, low-quality submissions, often from developers unfamiliar with the agency's regulatory process. Yeah, so just people coming out of the woodwork. Putting in
the
these,
lizard people can put in an offer.
Yeah. Oh, they know how the process works. This was regular humans trying to do
lizard
it.
people.
The office recommends that the FDA revise its EUA application process to account for lessons learned from the pandemic and improve communications with developers to limit confusion. The report also states that the FDA's need to rely on private developers rather than the CDC for a test exposed a vulnerability. The FDA's need for private developers instead of the CDC. They sure do rely on a lot of private developers, don't they, Gons, for their funding, if anybody is wondering how the FDA is funded. I actually did pull up an article about that from Forbes. If we wanted to make the point, it is a new mainstream media outlet. I'll throw it into the doc here in a second. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is from 2018. So this was before anybody can sort of blame it on anything that happens. After 2018. So this is 2018 Forbes. I put it there in the doc. The headline of this Forbes article is the biopharmaceutical industry provides 75% of the FDA's drug review budget. Is this a problem? Question mark. Forbes.com, 2018. So that's the type of thing they're referring to in this daily caller.
And it makes sense about the conversation of how they were caught. And so now, you got to change things up, or at least admit to things, because it's so obvious now. But it makes the bioeconomies thing make sense. All the
exactly.
Biden stuff.
The connection with Biden's executive order are so stark. A number of COVID-19 therapeutics have been authorized through the EUA during the pandemic. All COVID-19 vaccines available in the U.S. were initially made available by EUA, although some have since been granted full approval for certain groups. Paxlovid, Pfizer's antiviral pill used to treat some COVID-19 patients, is currently available under the EUA. The IG report is the latest criticism levied at America's health authorities for their performance during the pandemic. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky recently announced the agency will undergo a total restructuring due to pandemic failures. And we've covered that total restructuring. It's a bit of a Game of Thrones vibe on the whole restructuring of the CDC, if anybody remembers our reporting on that. So there you go. The emergency use authorization FDA process, highly flawed. Who would have saw that coming, huh?
I don't know. It seemed like...
that's not my words. Those are the words of HHS Investigator General. What's his name?
Inspector General.
Inspector General. Yeah. That's right. That's not my words. That's the government's words.
I think last episode we reported how Fauci took over the HHS Twitter page. So it seems like there's a coordinated campaign as part of the admission process. And if Fauci's going to get off by just admitting, when you do draconian things,
not apologizing,
but just admitting it, and that's
not even
kind of
justifying.
He just straight up says it, man. Like, when you do draconian things, it's like, that's technically usually what happens.
We've been saying.
I don't know. We don't have to say it anymore. He said it. So you have this Time article too.
One quick thing I wanted.
Quick thing.
And I'm going to try not to get in trouble here. This is from Time Magazine.
Yes.
And the headline is, scientists find a new coronavirus in bats that is resistant to current vaccines.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, someone else said this. I would not say this, but it came to mind. This is not my view, of course. But reading a headline, scientists find a new coronavirus bat in bats that is resistant to current vaccines. Somebody might say, well, yeah, isn't all coronavirus pretty resistant to the vaccines right now? That just seems to be the reason why we need these very safe and effective boosters, is because the vaccines are having a little bit of trouble with these new coronaviruses. But the bats, okay, Gons, back to the bats. Mm-hmm. It's the news that public health experts expect but dread.
Oh, boy.
Virus hunting researchers. Remember the virus hunters? They got a lot of attention back in 2020. Virus hunting researchers have discovered a new coronavirus in bats that could spell trouble for the human population.
Time magazine, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Posted yesterday.
Wow.
The virus can infect human cells and is already able to skirt the immune protection from COVID-19 vaccines.
The problem, reaction, solution to this is so obvious on a show like this, or a show like today, where it can infect human cells. So what do? You need those little nanobots protecting your cells, watching over your cells.
They need to be delivered with the nanolipid particles.
Acoustic waves that'll make sure your little nanobot is monitoring every cell in your body to protect it from bat COVID.
Listen to this. Reporting in the journal PLOS Pathogens, scientists led by Michael Letgo, assistant professor. Let go, Michael. Assistant professor in the Paul Allen School of Public Health at Washington State University, found a group of coronaviruses similar to SARS-CoV-2 that were initially discovered living in bats in Russia.
Oh, I knew it was Putin.
Russia.
It was Putin all along.
In 2020. At the time, scientists did not think the virus called Costa 2 posed a threat to people.
I like that. Costa 2. That sounds like a cool movie, part 2.
So they found this in 2020. But when Letko's team did a more careful analysis, they found that the virus could infect human cells in the lab. The first warning sign that it could become a possible public health threat. A related virus also found in the Russian bats. Costa 1.
Hold on. I'm just realizing that the timeline associated with this, you mentioned it as the 2020.
Yep.
Right? They found this thing. It was a virus similar to the big coronavirus that locked the whole world down. This is a separate thing. In Russia. Okay. I'm just clarifying because it's... I thought we were just under one big pandemic, but apparently this thing was just separate, different, could affect human cells in a lab, could spell trouble for the human population, all that stuff.
It could. And it goes into this. It starts blah, blah, blah. It's got the ACE2 receptors.
Yeah.
Penetrate the human cells. Receptors on the human cells are the way the viruses get into the cells, says Letgo. If a virus can't get in the door, then it can't get into the cell. It is difficult to establish any type of infection.
I like this part here. Costa 2 doesn't appear to have that problem. What's the problem? Yeah, get into the door. Since it seems to infect human cells readily, even more troubling when Letgo combined serum from people who have been vaccinated against COVID-19 with Costa 2. The antibodies in the serum did not neutralize the virus. The same happened when they combined the Costa 2 virus with serum from people who had recovered from Omicron infections. Serums. I don't
You're not
feel
safe.
comfortable about testing on our serum.
They're testing our serum.
The
You're not
vaccinated
safe.
people's serum. Give it to us. We must test it with Costa 2.
Costa 2. It's coming for you.
Yeah.
Here's the quote. We don't want to scare anybody and say this is a completely vaccine-resistant virus, Letgo says. Ooh, scary. We are coming up on Halloween. Quote, but it is concerning that there are viruses circulating in nature that have these properties.
Wait a minute.
They can bind to human receptors and are not so neutralized by current vaccine responses.
Did he say this now or in 2020?
Beats me, man.
I like Time magazine, real clear on
there was
the timeline.
I mean, we have to assume this is recent because there was no vaccines in 2020.
All right, okay.
The good news is that Letgo studies show that, like the Omicron variant of SARS-CoV-2, CoSTA-2 does not seem to have genes that would suggest it could cause serious disease in people. But that could change if CoSTA-2 starts circulating more widely.
Okay. I don't know. I'm having a roller coaster of
listen to this.
Emotions and thoughts.
No, wait. You got to wait for this part. But that could change if CoSTA-2 starts circulating more widely and mixing with genes from SARS-CoV-2. It's the mixing.
What are we? Are humans just cauldrons? What's going on here?
Well, the irony is, if these guys didn't go into the bat cave and get the bats and get the CoSTA-2 and then bring it into a lab, would anybody ever come in contact with CoSTA-2?
Yeah, and it does not seem to have genes that would suggest it could cause serious disease in people, yet it's the thing that can become the death of humanity?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. This just flips back and forth. Continue.
One of the things we're worried about is that when related coronaviruses get into the same animal and into the same cells, then they can recombine, and out comes a new virus.
Ooh, the hybrid virus.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's the chimera. Quote, the worry is that SARS-CoV-2 could spill back over to animals infected with something like CoSTA-2 and recombine and then infect human cells. They could be resistant to vaccine immunity and also have some more virulent factors. What the chances of that are, who knows? But it could be, in theory, happen during a recombinant event. So, the worry is not that a human gets CoSTA-2. It's that somebody gives the bats COVID, and then the bats get COVID and CoSTA-2 and create mega CoSTA-2. And then that creates the doomsday one. You know what we really need to make sure this doesn't happen? We need some gain-of-function research. We need to get some gain-of-function. We got to study this before it happens, man.
Yeah. No, we won't call it gain-of-function. That's not really resonating with the public.
No, we'll change the definition. That's a different thing.
We need a different thing for that. But oh man,
it kind of goes on and on and on. But it is an interesting setup for something.
They describe it. All I can think about is the black goo. Sort of nebulous, but it's there. It can combine. It learns. It mutates, changes, and it can kill humanity.
Yeah, it's somehow sort of conscious and has its own strategy.
Its own evolutionary arc into personhood.
Yeah, and he kind of goes in, the whole kind of kicker at the end is this. Ultimately having deeper dossiers on the microbial world. Oh. So he's, he's saying this is what we're doing. This is why we do this. We're virus hunters. We're making the dossier. And infect human cells, for example, will be important to making the response to public health threats more efficient and more powerful. Letgo is working on building a database that includes information on which human receptors viruses use to infect cells and whether or not those viruses can evade existing vaccines. That way, he said, he's working for Big Pharma is what it is. It's R&D for the mRNA vaccines.
We beat Big Pharma. Our president said so.
That way, he says, when new microbes are discovered that are similar to those in the database, researchers could have a head start on understanding how to control them. Quote, yeah, because that worked pretty well the first time. Quote, at some point in the future, as these outbreaks continue, we won't have to scramble whenever a new virus spills over to people. As the outbreaks continue, Gons.
Yeah, we need more surveillance. We need to monitor your waste, your
cells. That's what Dr. Andrew Huff wants, the Eco Health Alliance whistleblower.
Yeah.
He's a pro in biosurveillance. Quote, we could plug the virus into the database and understand that it probably uses these receptors to get into human cells and might be resistant to these types of vaccines or treatments. It's a 10 to 20 year goal, but it's possible. It's not just a pipe dream, Gons. Be real. Be reasonable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah. That's
Time
it.
Magazine. Okay. Well, thanks for cheering me up, buddy.
Yeah.
One quick thing about AI.
Artificial intelligence.
ScienceDaily.com. People who distrust fellow humans show greater trust in artificial intelligence.
This doesn't seem to be a surprise.
No, it's not, but yeah.
Especially in this age of full-on brainwashing of distrust everyone.
Yeah.
Especially if they're unvaccinated, or if they're a Republican, or a Democrat, or vaccinated.
You know, I just realized that perhaps the entire truth community, people just speaking truth or speaking, at least a different point of view, we all help train the AI. Just be the arbiters of truth. Yeah, I'm doing air quotes.
The more people distrust you and I, Gons, the more they will trust the AI.
Yeah.
It's been the plan the whole time. We fell right into the trap.
Quote. It starts with a quote, this article. We found a systematic pattern of individuals who have less trust in other humans, showing greater trust in AI's classification, end quote, said S. Shyam Sundar, SSS, the James P. Jamiro Professor of Media Effects at Penn State. Quote, based on our analysis, this seems to be due to the users invoking the idea that machines are accurate, objective, and free from ideological bias, end quote. The study published in the Journal of New Media and Society also found that, quote, power users, end quote, who are experiencing users of information technology had the opposite tendency. They trusted the AI moderators less because they believed the machines lack the ability to detect nuances of human language. Sounds like maybe we are, I don't know, we could be part of the, whatever that part of that study was. The study found that individual differences such as distrust of others and power usage predict whether users will invoke positive or negative characteristics of machines when faced with an AI-based system for content moderation, which will ultimately influence their trust toward the system. There's a lot there.
There is a lot there.
There's a lot.
And the language, when they say system, they mean AI system.
Right, their AI system, but then,
not the system, man.
No. Right, exactly. The researchers suggest that personalizing interfaces based on individual differences can positively alter user experience. The type of content moderation in the study involves monitoring social media posts for problematic content like hate speech and suicidal ideation. A lot of censorship going on here. And they're suggesting again that certain types of content is just not good for one's health. Quote, one of the reasons why some may be hesitant to trust content moderation technology is that we are used to freely expressing our opinions online. How dare they? We feel like content moderation may take that away from us.
So this is based around content moderation.
They're sort of testing, like looking at the trust level of the AI based on that, But that's just such a, I don't know, it's always frustrating to me when these big kind of studies state the obvious, and maybe it's because we've been looking at this for a long time that we're, they're just kind of giving us the quotes and stuff, so it frustrates us at times, but...
It's our lives. That's the prison we've built for ourselves, Guns.
Yeah, we feel like content moderation may take away freely expressing our opinions online. Thanks for letting us know, Maria D. Molina, an assistant professor of communication arts and sciences at Michigan State University and the first author of this paper. How would you like it if your opinion was censored? Sorry, I'm getting upset.
Well, it's nice. It's nice to have the science behind what we've been saying all along.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and it fits right into the skeptic's narrative. That is, hey, the more. I mean, it's almost like the third. It's the third. I was going to say the middle way, but that's something else. It's the third category. You've got the left, you've got the right, you've got the red, you've got the blue, you've got this, you've got that. But it's the it's that weird third unpopular opinion,
the third strand of DNA,
which has held us back for so many years because it's unpopular and it's not very exciting and it's a little too reasonable. Who have been looking at us being like, yeah, you know, the more we hate the Democrats, the more we hate the Republicans, the more we hate the whatever, it intrinsically causes trust in something being presented as, unbiased, which they've tried very hard to say AI is unbiased, and that hasn't quite worked. But still, distrust in people increases trust in robots.
Yeah, this is interesting, too. As I continue here. Quote, this study may offer a solution to that problem by suggesting that for people who hold negative stereotypes of AI for content moderation, it is important to reinforce human involvement when making a determination. Which is so meta. It's like, oh, you don't like AI, you don't trust AI? Well, our AI is going to make sure that we provide information that human is involved to make sure that you feel comfortable about the AI that is being presented to you. On the other hand, for people with positive stereotypes of machines, we may reinforce the strength of the machine by highlighting elements like the accuracy of AI. So just really just tailoring AI. The AI is tailoring how it presents itself to you.
No, then, I just want to reinforce what you just said.
Yeah.
And because in case somebody missed it, what they're saying is they are not increasing the reliability or the accuracy of AI. They're increasing the marketing of AI to make you think that it is more trustworthy. Not that it is more trustworthy, but that they have ways of making you trust it more that don't involve objective accuracy.
Yeah. Listen to this. The study also found users with conservative political ideology were more likely to trust AI-powered moderation.
Ooh.
Yeah, you wouldn't think conservative political idealists would trust the AI moderation more. Now, my question is, did they know that it was AI-powered moderation? I don't think they did.
I think they did, because that's the whole point. Do you trust this or do you not trust this? This is AI. Do you trust it?
Okay, well, let me keep reading. Melina and co-author Sundar, who also co-directs Penn State's Media Effects Research Laboratory, said this may stem from a distrust in mainstream media and social media companies. I don't know if that means distrust of mainstream media and distrust in social media companies, or a distrust in mainstream media as well as, that stems from just social media companies in general.
Feels like both.
Yeah, it feels like both. The researchers recruited 676 participants from the United States, and they really wanted to get 666, but 10 people brought a friend. The participants were told they were helping test a content moderating system that was in development. They were given definitions of hate speech and suicidal ideation, followed by one of 4 different social media posts. The posts were either flagged for fitting those definitions or not flagged. The participants were also told if the decision to flag the post or not was made by AI, a human, or a combination of both. Okay, so they did know. The demonstration was followed by a questionnaire that asked the participants about their individual differences. Differences included their tendency to distrust others, political ideology, experience with technology, and trust in AI. Quote, "We are bombarded with so much problematic content, from misinformation to hate speech," Melina said. Quote, "But at the end of the day, it's about how we can help users calibrate their trust toward AI due to the actual attributes of the technology, rather than being swayed by those individual differences." We're really getting into the weeds here now. I mean,
it's a scientific paper. So
I know, but I'm saying just in general, the arguments that are having to be made are like, well, the content is one thing, but we just really need to highlight the actual attributes of the tech. I mean, she's almost like marveling at AI and saying we just have to, everyone just has to see the amazing ability to curate information.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last quote here. "A major practical implication of the study is to figure out communication and design strategies for helping users calibrate their trust in automated systems," said Sundar, who is also director of Penn State's Center for Socially Responsible Artificial Intelligence. Quote, Certain groups of people who tend to have too much faith in AI technology should be alerted to its limitations. And those who do not believe in its ability to moderate content should be fully informed about the extent of human involvement in the process. I don't know about you, but it sounds to me like they're saying lie or lie.
I tried to tell you.
Yep. No, I mean, I think the headline sums it up quite well, and it comes almost instinctually to us, and I think people who listen to this show, that instinctually we know it makes total sense. If you distrust people, you trust the AI. In the context of the seeming warpath of mainstream information peddlers, narrative crafters, social engineers, where everything seems crafted to make you to not trust your neighbor, and setting the stage for a wonderful robot-led, robo-overlord transhumanist dystopia filled with the gnashing of teeth and total darkness. And with that, I think we should thank some of our wonderful producers who created some art for the show.
Break.
This is break. Don't just consume the content, but become the content. Become the content. Yeah. All right. We're taking a quick break here, thanking our producers who came in with their talent. If you've been blessed with the talent, then don't hide. Come out. Help build the culture behind the community here at Canary Cry News Talk. All we ask is that you make it about the show, something that happened on the show, whatever it is related to the show. And we usually do a speak pipe here, but we played the message earlier. It was the meetup message. So we'll jump over the speak pipe. But if you do go to canarycrynewstalk.com, look for a green tab, click on it. It'll allow you to leave us a 1 minute, 30-second audio message, and we may or may not play it.
No, okay, you keep saying that. I don't think that's the right way to say it.
Okay, well, you say it then.
You're giving us permission to play it on this show.
Okay.
But it's not guaranteed to play.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. To me, it just sounds like the same thing I said, but I understand the delivery is...
Okay.
Sure, yeah, of course.
No, it's not the same. Because some people have left us messages not realizing that we play them. And so we're telling you, if you leave us a message, you are giving us permission to play that message on the show. But we can also choose not to if we want to.
Right. And if you don't want us to play it on the air, just make sure to say it at the beginning of the message, and that way we know early.
That helps. That certainly helps.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't have any audio producers today, but we do have a lot of artists. So let's just get into it.
One art, please.
I'm going to start with Dame Allie of the Skillet Nation.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
And, people miss out on the breaks. I know some people like to skip it, but this is content, folks. This is actual content. And we're gonna start it off here with the great portrait, and by Dame Allie, and it's accompanied by a haiku. Shots fired, Dame Ebony Blaze haiku. Oh boy. Chris Kempczynski feels the heavy tread of Lightfoot. Chicago crime. Economic Club. Luncheon speech warned rising crime, driving businesses out. Chicago mayor. McDonald's CEO should educate himself. Bodyguards agree. Crime is not such a problem in her neighborhood.
Yeah, there was a rash of people posting crime videos on Twitter after she said this. Like, oh, is this the not crime neighborhood? And pretty horrific things going on over there. And here we have a beautiful
accurate.
An accurate headshot pencil portrait from Dame Allie of Lori Lightfoot.
The articism is beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Halloween season, I guess.
What to say, yes. It is accurate, an incredibly accurate portrait of Lori Lightfoot. Look, folks, we don't get to choose our skins, our avatars when we're born. So that's not the point here. No. This is a very well crafted portraiture here of Lori Lightfoot. She's got her Baphomet earring on. I think that might be a beautiful touch. And it's just very well done. You know, kind of zoom. It's hard to tell. Her eyes are quite dark. It's hard to see if there's lizard stuff in there or not.
If you just let it sink into your eyeballs, you will notice.
It's almost like you don't even need that.
You don't.
Yeah. Thank you, Dame Allie. Thank you, Dame Ebony Blaze, for the wonderful art.
The article that was mentioned with this was from Fox Business, in the headline, Chicago Mayor Lightfoot tells McDonald's CEO to educate himself after he warns of rising crime.
Yeah, I'm not here to bully anybody, Susan. Mm-hmm. I'm not bullying anybody. I'm simply commenting on the talent of our producer.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much, Dame Allie and Dame Ebony Blaze. Next up, we have Sir Dove, Knight of Rusbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
And Sir Dove comes in with a note. Piece for today's artwork. I made a piece to give away at the Feast of Tabernacles meetup next week. It's a hand-sawed, painted, and resin-coated wood cutout on birch of Psalm 118. The stone that the builders refused has become the cornerstone. Hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for yins.
Yeah, and this will be one of the art pieces, I believe, given away during the Canary Cry Rusbeltia Feast of Tabernacles meetup happening on October 15th. It's a camping trip. Canarians will be celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles out on a camping trip there. And Sir Dove, as always, creating some fun party favors. I would love to get one of these things. And this one, like you said, it's a wood cutout, painted wood cutout. Of the stone the builders refused. Of course, we know that stone becomes the cornerstone. And it's this cute little stone block with a cute little face and little hands and little feet. And he's raising one hand pointing up. He's sort of reminiscent to the recent Trump rally that all the liberal outlets were like, look, they're doing the Hitler salute.
It's like, the Q symbol.
They're pointing up in the sky. Yeah. There you go. Very nice. Thank you very much, Sir Dove. And look, go to the meetups, folks, for so many reasons. But if you're near Pennsylvania, go to this meetup. That's some of the most prolific producers of the show in many different regards, but also one of the most cohesive meetup groups in the country right now. And they always have fun games, fun events planned, and of course, party favors from Sir Dove.
Yep. And prayers with you, Dove, and your family.
His father is getting the open heart surgery today.
Based on the time, I think he's right about getting out of surgery if the timetable was accurate there. So
he may not be here watching or listening, but just everybody pray for Dove and his family and his father, who's getting open heart surgery this morning. Yeah. Of course, we pray for a successful surgery and healing and peace with the whole family.
Yeah.
And we will get an update someday.
Yep. Thank you very much, Sir Dove, and prayers out to you. The entire community is praying for you and your family. Mm-hmm. Okay, next up we have The Sentinel. The Sentinel came in with a piece here. Sorry, it took a second to find it. It's a meme.
The meme.
Yep. And
the meme.
The note here. Here's a meme about Cuomo based on the somehow Palpatine returned meme from the Star Wars sequel. Thought it was kind of funny based on y'all's conversation that somehow he came back. Respectfully, The Sentinel. And then P.S. I stole 4 of my university classmates' iPhones to leave reviews. And today I hope to convince my coworker to let me use her phone too. We will get 5 reviews for next week.
Setting a good example, everybody. This is a good example. If real humans listening to this show feel entitled to not leave a rating and a review, then that's up to them. But the Canary squad knows what to do. Thank you very much for that.
Mobilizing on everyone. Watch your cell phones, friends and family.
As the show's resident meme academician, I am unfamiliar with this meme, but it is a shot of Poe from the recent prequel franchise. I am very unfamiliar with this, but it's a picture of Poe. It says, somehow Cuomo returned. And there was a moment of criticism for the more recent Star Wars films. Just sort of unexplained. Emperor Palpatine was just alive again for some reason, somehow. As we know, Emperor Palpatine was killed by Luke Skywalker, but
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. We needed a big bad guy to fight. So thank you very much, the Sentinel.
Appreciate it. All right, next up we have KDU. And KDU has a note here. Hey, Gonz and Basil, this is a short clip from the movie Batteries Not Included, 1987, I believe. Thought y'all would like to see a cool old school Flippy. All right, so here's the clip. So it is a remote controlled sort of flying, looks sort of like like a flying saucer with a little what are those things called? Those little flipper things in the kitchen.
It's like a Flippy, but it's like a floating robot Flippy.
Floating robot Flippy with spatula. That's the word I was looking for. Spatula that flips the burgers.
Spatula is what he was looking for, folks.
I'm not a kitchen guy.
I do appreciate the clip. I like the clip. I did not know this was going in the art section. I don't know if this counts as art, but thank you very much for the clip, Katie. Maybe we can work this into one of the jingle videos.
Yeah, there you go.
Should pass this on to one of our Clippies. Maybe they can do something with it.
There you go. All right, thank you very much, KDU. Next up, we have Mark A. Mark A has a note that says, Shalom, boys. Hope you guys like this one for Sync Scorpion, a.k.a. Scorpy.
Scorpy. Thank you very much, Mark A., a.k.a. the Triple Threat. He sends in a four-cell cartoon, which we've seen some of his work before, but this one is in memoriam. And there's Basil, the robotic Flippy arm, sitting at his sink there, and he's looking down into the sink saying, here, Scorpy, try some chicken. And on the counter is a sleepy chicken.
A sleepy chicken with the bottle of NyQuil next door.
Yep. Chicken marinated in NyQuil there. I'm trying to give Scorpy some sleepy chicken. And then next panel shows a stick poking poor little sleeping Scorpy down there in the sink. There's a piece of sleepy chicken next to him. He's not moving.
The NyQuil draining into the drain.
Poor Scorpy, poor little sink Scorpion. And the next panel is, Scorpy on a floating box of matches in the toilet as I give him the Viking burial he deserves. Burning him at sea in the toilet. It was R.I.P. Scorpy. Gonz, I did get up. I checked on Scorpy today. He definitely needs a Viking burial. Scorpy has passed.
Oh, really?
For those who don't know, Sink Scorpion, a scorpion who lived in my sink for, I don't know exactly when he died. I thought he was napping for a day or two. But he survived in the sink for about eight or 9 days, I think. But yes, we'll be holding a Viking funeral for Scorpy.
You'll see Scorpy again.
Someday,
when the
Scorpy.
New Jerusalem comes down.
I don't know where you
open claws.
Don't know where you came from. Don't know how you got in the house, much less how you got in the sink. But I tried to let you live your life, little buddy, and it's short though it was. Okay,
all right.
Thank you very much, Mark A.
Thank you, Mark A. We got another piece here from producer Irene, and there's a note. Hello again. I have here Sleepy Joe's Sleepy Chicken. I can't believe we didn't make the connection. Maybe
there
some people out there
so many pieces of art that I did not know we had today.
Yeah, I told you we got a lot. Are you too woke? Does current state of the world prevent you from having your beauty sleep? Then we have a solution for you. Sleepy Joe's Sleepy Chicken. It's not just a meal, it's a movement. So there you go. Sleepy Joe peddles his chicken at NWO Fantasy League. I also included a couple billboards with the concept from previous shows, which I wasn't able to work on them at the time. A little underworked, but at this point I think it's as good as it's going to get. I wanted to get in before Friday's show, and here you are, producer Irene. Thank Thank you very much. Do you see this piece here?
I'm pulling it up right now. I see it on the stream, but I'm pulling it up on my own computer so I can get nice and close to it. But I am seeing it now. Yeah, you've got a Sleepy Joe there with a nice little sort of old-timey fry cook hat. And he is holding some hairy chicken legs, Sleepy Joe's Sleepy Chicken. He's got his billboards back there, ladylizards.com, lots of lizards. Come meet your new lizard wife. That's a good one. Flippy Paralegals and Attorneys at Law. Have you been denied a patent? Flippy could help. We will flip any case in your favor. That is good. That is a good one.
Robot Lives Matter. Hashtag robots are people too.
It's just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time. Yeah,
and then up in the clouds, you see a speech bubble as if it's coming from somewhere up in heaven. Dad, how about now? Jesus, just itching to come help us out.
I love that this show, the artists have taken on its own sort of meme about Jesus, just like ready to come back.
Just ready at any moment.
Any moment,
yes,
he's just
waiting.
like, "How about now?" Well, the mullet wars or whatever. It's like, no, it's going to get worse.
No.
How about now? How about the Sleepy Joe's Sleepy Chicken? I think God's response is, "Oh, hold it. It gets worse.
Getting close.
It gets worse." I think that's going to be the line for a while.
Thank you very much, Producer Irene.
Thank you, Producer Irene. All right, we also have Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas, coming in with his own piece here.
Another Sleepy Chicken ad.
Another Sleepy Chicken ad. Yeah, I don't know how we are not just huge on the interwebs. These need to be shared all over.
Our social media people need to get on this. We're working on it, Guns. Don't worry.
Okay.
Because these Sleepy Chicken ads can really get us there.
Yeah.
We have he has a note, right?
Yeah, he has a little note. Yep. Yes, his note says it's Friday.
Mm-hmm. It's Friday. It's Friday.
When you talked about Sleepy Chicken, I couldn't help but think about an old Campbell's Soup advertisement, so I tweaked it to be CCNT's Sleepy Chicken ad. Have a great weekend.
Mom's Sleepy Chicken made with real NyQuil. It'll sleep you good, it says. We've got sort of a, 50s style ad, blonde or red hair.
I thought she was Russian.
Kind of a Lucy-looking character from a 50s advertisement. Blue eyes, red hair. She's holding a can of Canary Cry News Talk chicken soup. And we've got next to that Canary Cry News Talk chicken soup mixed with NyQuil Canary Cry's News Talk. It'll sleep you good. And in true 50s... Yeah.
Made with over 60 bottles of real NyQuil. I like that.
Yeah.
Real NyQuil.
I thought this was genius because if you read some of the old 50s advertisements, they really are kind of crazy sounding. They're kind of misogynist and kind of funny. And there is perfectly done here by Sir Darren out of the Hungry Pandas. And just to read some of it here. To please my man, all these advertisements were like trying to, get women to get their husbands to love them and their children to love them. To please my man, breathe. Okay. This is old-timey ad speak, so listen up, folks.
You got to do the old-timey voice.
Breathes there a man who doesn't go all out for the taste of good Canary Cry's Sleepy Chicken? Men love the NyQuil and homey chicken breast in Canary Cry's Sleepy Chicken. Certainly, my husband does. For my children's lunches. And, of course, all those 60 bottles of NyQuil Canary Cry put in. And that fine chicken breast makes it so nourishing for youngsters. Mine just spoon up this good soup. Usually ask for more.
Yeah, those old commercials had those the awkward, sort of real long lines of I like this bottle of... NyQuil soup?
As my all the family soup. So it's got so many uses: to please my man, for my children's lunches, and as my all the family soup. So naturally, I've made this my all the family soup.
Oh, this is always the mom. This is the mom talking.
It's always the mom talking. Yeah. It's the main dish that's a man dish every time, and a children's delight, too. I call it almost a meal in itself. I serve it, and it serves me for children's lunch for family.
Now, there is a notice. Very small. Can you read that?
This is genius, especially because of Darren's obvious sort of professional experience in the ad space. There is a notice down at the bottom that says CCNT in no way endorses or promotes the consumption of sleepy chicken. Sleepy chicken is not a real product, and any similarity to actual products is purely coincidental. CCNT is in no way affiliated, associated, authorized, endorsed by, or in any way officially connected with Vicks, NyQuil, Campbell's Soup, or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. Void where prohibited. No representation or warranty, express or implied, concerning the completeness, accuracy, fitness for a particular purpose, or utility of these materials for any information or opinion contained herein. This is a parody. So not only is Darren creating excellent ads for us, he's also covering our butts legally in case anybody thinks we're promoting sleepy chicken. Thank you very much, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Pandas.
Yeah, good job. All right, that's it for the art. There's a lot of artists today. But we appreciate it. This is the kind of thing that these are supposed to, we share it on the show here, but it's really meant for everybody else to use and share on social media and get the word out about the show. That's its own ad for the podcast.
If you have a Facebook, if you have a Twitter, whatever, all of these get posted by Dame Miss G, now to the OG and the Deep Rivers, onto our social media. So use that. Click on one you like and just share it out. Stuff like that. Okay, a couple of quick reviews, and then we can get to the show.
Oh, are we not going to do microfiction?
Sorry, I forgot. Yeah,
okay,
microfiction first.
Microfiction.
From Wrong Smash.
It becomes apparent when Derwin starts babbling like a teenager who ate an entire sleepy chicken that something is very wrong. But while Stacy looks for the cause, Derwin begins haphazardly delivering a flurry of paper cuts to the anchors' faces.
Man, a lot of Derwin.
Sleepy Derwin. Yeah, Derwin's a new hero. Yeah. I got that same text, by the way.
What?
Just copy and paste the same text of how I'm letting Trump down.
Oh, great. Yeah.
They let me know, and I haven't responded. I'm too lazy.
Are you
I'm ruining Trump's legacy.
Is it coming with your Basil, or is it another just
no
random
names?
No names, huh?
No names
at
all.
You must have gotten the one without the name queue.
The names,
outlet, yeah.
All right, quick reviews. Again, thank you to everybody who left reviews. It's really, really meaningful. It really means a lot for us to get those, not just to our sense of self and the fact that sometimes it's really hard to tell if we're having any effect on the world at all or if we're just shouting into the abyss. The reviews help a lot, not only for that, but also gets those algorithms cranking.
Yeah, we got to push those algos to fight back.
We have to. I mean, that's our thing now. Here's the thing, people. We've done as much word of mouth as can possibly happen. I mean, it's always the best way to do it. But one thing that's always held us back is we're not very good at the algos. And ratings and reviews really help out the algos. So, anywho, here we go. I just moved it. Dang it. Where is it? There it is. Okay, this one is from Steve Obert. United States, 5 stars. Steve Ober, he says, if you're looking for the best mainstream news analysis from a biblical perspective, look no further. These two hilarious commentators entertain your ears and stimulate your mind to think outside the cage. Do you feel there is something amuck in the world around you? Do you sense there are half-truths or outright lies in the media? Are you looking for answers to the greatest questions ever asked? Or are you gruntled with the state of affairs? Dive into the deep end and turn on your headphones, because this podcast will tear the scales from your eyes to open up a world only the select few dare to see. You will, to begin, quote, you two will begin questioning the narratives forced down your throat by mainstream news, and will start dissecting the true stories happening in the world before your very eyes. If reading this gets your leg to twitch, your eyes to blink, or it moves you to go to the bathroom, then this is the podcast for you. Join the pilgrimage and see what's on the other side. Thank you, Steve Obert.
Steve Obert. Yeah. Thank you.
Then we got SMAC 2022, United States, 5 stars. Best news podcast in existence. CCNT is the best and most informative podcast in existence today. If you follow this show, Basil and Gons will keep your ears ahead of all the gritters. Keep you years ahead of all the gritters out there.
And your ears too, apparently, yes.
If you don't know what a gritter is, that's because you're behind.
Aha!
Get on the cutting edge of current events and the future of the whole world with CCNT. That you're darn tootin'. We're about 10 years ahead seems to be the calculation. BTW, this is your favorite low-skill artist, Mark A. There he is, sending this review from a coworker's phone. Nice. P.S. Does anyone else remember the one time Gonz's grumpy uncle said he would kill us, or am I crazy? Think outside the cage. Tweet, Mark A. I don't remember any death threats from Grumpy Uncle Gonz, but it is possible. It's not impossible.
Sure, I don't know. Heat of the moment, he gets pretty mad, so he may say things that he doesn't really mean, you know.
All right, thank you to all of our creative producers. Remember, if you are a creative person of any kind, you can participate in the Canary Cry culture-building practice that is producing the show. All you got to do is make something for the show and send it on in to canarycryradio@gmail.com. You know what? I think I'm going to reveal. I'm just going to put it out there. Show burps are
lovely,
back.
Yeah.
It's not there. Okay. The art portal is created. Keep an eye out on the Twitter and the newsletter and stuff like that. The art portal, where we will be trying to get all the artists to upload their art. It will be released hopefully by Monday, but hopefully we don't forget. Okay. There you go. But for now, email it to canarycryradio@gmail.com.
All right. One more story here.
Space. Wanna go to space?
The moon. A lot of Canary Cry lore has been birthed on the topic of the moon.
Yeah.
Including the wormicorn, the worm, that unicorn that lives on the moon. This is
Whoa. Are you hearing that?
Yes.
Why did it happen?
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on.
They don't want us talking about it.
Is it your fault or my fault?
It's you.
I didn't do it.
Mute yourself.
Okay, hold on.
Okay. This is what I'm talking about, folks. You got a little taste earlier, but that's the kind of noise, and I think we were okay with not absolutely destroying your ears, but hopefully you guys are okay out there. You never know what's going to happen on the show. We are live to tape. And maybe someone doesn't like us talking about this particular topic. TheMindUnleashed.com. This $5 billion Dubai moon hotel will simulate an outer space experience on Earth. All right. The most populous city in the United Arab Emirates is due to be remodeled by a brand new hotel, which Moon World Resorts believes will live up to Dubai's reputation for opulent building design. The Canadian corporation intends to construct a total of 4 moon resorts, with Dubai being the location of the first one. Standing at 735 foot tall, the copy of the moon will have all of the conveniences and luxuries that one would anticipate from a high-end resort, in addition to unique experiences that are designed to simulate a trip to Earth's moon. And there's a photo here before I read on. The photo is somewhere in Dubai. It's one of those time-lapse pictures. So, you know, the car lights on the streets are all streaked. You know, they look like just laser beams that are flying across. And there's like a resort type of thing in a circular form. And then a Photoshop job of just the moon sitting on top of this circular area.
Gigantic.
Gigantic. Hey, you're back.
To scale, it would be like a moon that's like a half a mile wide.
Half a mile size moon just floating there, or not even floating. It's actually sitting on the ground, I guess. Are you talking?
Letting off a chemtrail?
Oh, I couldn't hear what you just said. You cut out.
Really?
Yeah.
Something is going on.
Yeah. You're melting down.
I'm not going to interrupt. Keep doing your thing.
The goal of the $5 billion venture is to bring the experience of quote-unquote lunar surface and quote-unquote lunar colony down to Earth so that it may be enjoyed by tourists interested in space travel. Once it is finished being constructed, Sandra Matthews and Michael Henderson, who are the creators of the company, believe that the resort will be able to welcome up to 10 million guests a year. 10 million guests. The moon colony alone has the ability to host 2.5 million visitors annually, and there are plans to include a training platform for space programs and astronauts within the complex as well. Naturally, Moon, in all caps MOON, is still a resort, and as such, there will be a wide variety of activities and amenities available for visitors to try out and appreciate throughout their stay. The resort will have a nightclub, an event center that can accommodate as many as 5,000 people, a spa, a wellness center, a jazz piano bar, and a multi-level lounge designed to seem like an alien spaceship. And yeah, I think what Basil was trying to say there, and maybe his version of the audio would catch this, but yeah, there's the same picture again here, but this time there's an airplane flying overhead, leaving a pair of chemtrails. So there you go. Pretty straightforward there.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this was a fun one for us because the dots continue to connect. Of course, our obsession with Antarctica as a tourist destination, and it's all done in this high-end sort of luxury veneer. And then the Antarctica trip was put on a list of like best places to visit, new frontier tourism, and included on that was space. Like, you know, it's totally accessible to a super rich minority of people is space. So why don't you go to Antarctica? It's way more cheaper, bro. And so to have a space-based non-amusement park tourism attraction, yeah. I mean, you kind of got to see the picture and understand it, but it's basically a circular resort that has all these fun things that is dominated by a ludicrously large moon replica. It's got to be like a mile wide or a half a mile wide. I'm just hovering.
Yeah, the towers, the buildings like dwarf this thing. Oh no, you're making noises again.
Really? That's weird because I'm not even getting any of that. That is extra weird. Okay. Anyway, am I gone?
You're fine. You're okay. Sort of coming through. Yeah.
So, anywho, it follows the trajectory of what we've been seeing, which is as the world is falling apart, the economy is collapsing, you know, the robots are taking over, sending half of the middle class spiraling into poverty, et cetera, the obsession with frontier tourism manifesting in pretty just simply ridiculous expenditures of money to create experiences for the fewer and fewer people who are able to afford it, and also banking off of the sort of imaginary status symbol of frontier tourism, whether it be, you know, Antarctica, deep under the sea, visiting the Titanic. Or in this case, if you can't afford a trip to the moon, maybe you can go to Dubai and go to the moon base resort. I mean, honestly, if it became real, it seems pretty cool. I might consider going out there, do a little boots on the ground podcast reporting or something. But it's the Epcot Center reimagined times 100 in size. But whoever the designer was, I'm wondering if the person that they hired to design it, made a thing, did a little mock-up, and then the founders were like, make the moon bigger. And they're like, yeah, but it's kind of just make it bigger. And then, it just went to an absurd size, and they were like, yeah, that's it right there. I mean, it's so ludicrously large. It's so absurdly large that even in the article, it has, I think it ends with the quote, something like, yeah, this is totally possible to build. Why are you even asking? Well, let's listen to this. As part of the private home concept, Moon will also have 144 premium apartments. Why 144 premium apartments that are available for purchase? Every 2,000 square foot home has a lifetime membership to Moon, which gives the owner access to a variety of special benefits. Hey, the business anticipates that it will take 2 years to build this one-of-a-kind resort, even if the formal designs for Dubai are still in the process of being approved. Quote. This is the quote, yeah. From an architectural, engineering, and design perspective, Moon can be built. It's just, that's the statement. It's like, somebody was like, this looks impossible and stupid. This is a stunt, right? This can't be real. And the answer is, it can be built. Well, wait a minute, though. It's obviously answering a very simple question. So, okay, so they have another one here. So maybe the one in Vegas, things, they make the stuff smaller in Vegas, right? At the pyramid, they're like, we'll build the Luxor. It's not as big, but hey, we got it. The Dubai one looks full size. The Vegas one is a little smaller. It's still got the chemtrail in the sky, though. Yeah. I mean, It's so ludicrously large. You could see if it does become kind of like if it does become real, and then it becomes, it would become a landmark, of course, like any of the other things that get transferred over to Vegas and its miniature design. It will show up in movies. And, of course. There will be like an alien attack movie or a Godzilla movie where the moon gets knocked off of its base and starts rolling through the city. I'm telling you right now. You can put it in the prediction book. We need another 9/11. How about moon golf? Yeah, if this thing gets built, there will be a movie where it gets knocked off his base and rolls across the continent, destroying everything beneath it. Well, it really is ludicrous. Yeah, the last paragraph here, Moon World Resorts has a history of creating waves. Therefore, this is not the first time that they have done so. The business made the announcement in 2021 that they intended to bring Moon to Vegas at some point in the future. Henderson said at the time that he and Matthews had first conceived of the idea in the year 2000, and that, quote, the objective was to develop an authentic, mega-scale reproduction of planet Earth's moon, incorporating the world's largest sphere. They want to build a large sphere. And you know what this does, too, to call it the moon? I can't not mention the NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming that this will do, because, have you been to the moon? Well, are you talking about the moon in Dubai, or are we talking about the moon in the sky? I saw a guy dressed as a reptile on the moon, man. There's a bunch of people, reptiles on the moon. Are you talking about the moon, or are you talking about the moon? Yeah, the moon. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So, who needs it? Who needs the real moon? Who needs clarity when you have complete overtake of words? Well, start saving your pennies, folks, because Vacation to the Moon is going to be possible. Yeah, Canary Cry, live podcast from the moon. Meetup. We'll do a meetup. Oh, the moon meetup. Yeah. And this will get all the Moonies out there, too. I mean, this got so many implications. There it is. There it is. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Sorry for the jitters, the bumps and bruises along the way, but I'm glad we got there. And thank you to all of our producers. Truly could not keep doing what we're doing if it weren't for you guys. It is a success story in how independent media does not need to be captured by big tech or advertising in order to survive. It is a rarity nowadays, and something we believe brings a lot of value to the world and value to our producers, and that's why producers keep producing. I want to thank our executive producers for today, Dustin H., Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes, and of course Andrew M. for making it happen.
Oh no, it's making that crazy noise again. It's like a buzzing noise. It's like the drone is entering the room.
I think
coming
I
after
just
me.
have some cords going bad or something. Is it still there?
It stopped for the moment.
Okay. I'm looking at the waveform. It's not showing up on the podcast version. So I think the podcast version will be okay.
Yeah, the podcast version is going to make it sound like I am insane. I hear things in my head.
Yeah, you might need to do a quick little editor-runski on that.
Yeah, the video captures everything, live, so we'll have record of it there.
And that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you to all of our artists, our producers, and we even have some producers who are the unsung heroes of the Canarium. And we'll start with thanking the Clippies.
Oh, yes, the Clippies. Oh, no, what happened to my Clippy? Here we go. Yeah.
Flippy on those videos. Thanks.
That's right. Thank you to Emsworth and Faye Liverin managing and the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey, and clipping out all the shows to make sure that they are available for everybody. It's a huge value to the network here, and we really appreciate it. And of course, thank you to the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Thank you to our timestampers, which goes into so much of our back end. It's truly essential. And thank you to Christine C. for doing the timestamps for episode 537.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you to our social media gal.
The social media consultant.
Thanks so much.
Social media.
Dame Miss G of the OV in the Deep Rivers. Make sure that all the art makes it onto our social media. Thank you very much, Dame Miss G. Thank you very much. I'm seeing that there's some people in the chat who don't understand the difference between the podcast and the show.
Okay. You want me to explain it?
This is a common misunderstanding, especially when podcasts started putting their stuff on YouTube. Podcasting is a medium and not the name of a piece of media. Right now, you're just watching a video, a live video. This is a stream. A podcast is delivered by something called an RSS feed. If it is not delivered by an RSS feed, it is technically not a podcast, which is confusing because we do the podcast live on a stream. But the podcast version, which you find on a podcast player like Apple Podcast or Spotify or something like that, that gets an entirely different file uploaded. The sound quality is significantly higher on the podcast than it is on the live version. However, as of right now, you don't get the video. It's for the working man. It's the working's man's Canary Cry. People listen to it while they're at work and they don't have to look at something. Right. So that's the difference. Podcasting, technically, if you're watching it on YouTube or something like that, that's technically not a podcast, but now we're kind of getting into semantics that makes podcasters like us sound like jerks. But that's the difference, in case anybody was wondering.
Did you explain the technical for a moment there? I kind of tuned out. I was getting
RSS and the different files.
Yeah, but also the way we sort of have our audio captured.
It's a different file. Yeah, it's a different experience.
Okay, I guess you can just say that. But yeah, you're grabbing your raw sort of mic presence right there, and then we edit it later on.
It's a bit more technical than I said, but yes, it's a much higher quality because it's not going over the internet.
Yeah.
Okay, CanaryCrimeMeetups.com. Go check it out.
Canary Cry Meetup.
2 more meetups this month. Of course, St. Paul, we got the Twin Cities meetup tomorrow, September 24th. And we've got the Mountain View, Arkansas, the Pikeland meetup, September 28th through the 30th. Multi-day meetup there. So go to Canary Cry Meetups. Check it out. See if there's anything near you. Of course, October's got a couple of meetups. November already has a meet. Also, another meetup that we have to put on the website that isn't there right now, but it is in October. It is, looking for it. Where is it? Here it is. Roanoke Valley Meetup. Roanoke Valley Meetup. If you are in Virginia. Ooh, okay. Virginia's getting a meetup on October 15th. 2 o'clock on Saturday, October 15th. So you can check that out on the website here in the next day or so as well. So go to Canary Cry Meetup. See if there's one near you. If there isn't one, don't worry. You can put one on yourself. It's easy. Just pick a time, pick a place, let us know about it, and we will tell the world. I can guarantee that there are Canarians around you. It's just a matter of luring them out of their caves to come out into public. And if you want to try to do that, put on a meetup yourself. Very important. People find their best friends, their spouses. It's a wonderful way to get fellowship with people who you have some of the more important things in common with. We'll see you at the meetup.
Mm-hmm. Oops. Wasn't ready for that one. Sorry. Moving on. There you go.
This is fun! See you at the meetup.
I'm going to keep this one short, but just leave us reviews, please. You've heard reviews all throughout the show. It's very important to us. We can't explain exactly. I'm unable to articulate it.
It's back.
What?
Robo-helicopter drone thing.
Okay.
Is it gone?
It's gone now.
It's gone,
I can see on the waveform.
It just keeps popping in and out of the existence.
Let's go. Keep it going. Reviews, baby.
Reviews. You want
the jingle? Oh. The reviews jingle.
Okay.
God,
I thought you said you're going to keep it short, so I thought that was it, and I thought we were moving on.
It. Every single episode, we do the exact same thing, and it catches you by surprise.
No, you said I'm keeping it short.
I kept it short. We gotta play the jingles. People want the jingles. They don't want me talking. They want to hear the jingles. Thank you, Jam, for the links. And other than that, folks, just share the show. Share it with your friends, your family. Word of mouth is still the best way to let people know that there is a community of people out there who understand. There are people in your life who feel crazy. They feel like they're taking crazy pills because they see what's going on around us. And if they mention it to anybody, they're talked about as if they're crazy conspiracy theorists, white supremacists, extremists, okay? But it's okay to recognize that the mainstream media does not have your best interests in mind, and help them understand that there's a whole community of people who are on the same level. But you can share it in all sorts of ways. You don't have to do it the normal way. You can get some nanobots, okay? Here's the thing, folks. Nanobots, they're going to get us. They're going to get you. Here's what I'm suggesting. Instead of nanobots, we'll fight against the nanobots with megabots. That's right, megabots. They're here. They're gigantic. They're useless. They don't control your body cell by cell. They're not surreptitiously inserted into the food supply or the water supply or medical products. No, megabots are giant, humongous bots that, what do? Absolutely nothing. They simply sit there, dirtying up the skyline of your favorite famous city. They're in the shape of whatever. It doesn't even matter. And you say, but I'm not a roboticist. I don't know how to do a robot. Exactly. That's the beauty of the megabots. They don't do anything except send a message. And that message is, listen to Canary Cry News Talk. No, it will not take over your cells with AI-powered nanobots that control the very cells in your body. No, it will not protect you from anything, except it will let you know by being an intrusive obstruction in your field of view, reminding you that just like the megabots, useless, humongous, an eyesore, the mainstream media is also there, in the way, always looming over you, accomplishing nothing for your well-being. And when somebody walks up to the megabot, they'll see a little placard, just a little placard that says, "Welcome to the megabot. Do you hate it? So do we." Head on over to canarycrimenewstalk.com to find your family. And then boom, suddenly everybody will know, because of the megabots, that Canary Crime News Talk is the place to go to understand that the mainstream media is not here for their benefit. Now, you can do that. You can do anything you want. It's okay. Make up your own stupid idea. If you don't like mine, you can just, all you got to do is remember, we call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy.
Leave the bird alone!
Never! Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gons, any last words?
Yeah, just a quick final thank you to Sir Darren S., Knight of the Hungry Pandas, because he, I think, is our first tip over at Rockfin.
You know, I was looking at that. He let us know that. That is wonderful. I've not seen that one actually come through, Darren, so thank you for giving us a heads up. But there is another person to thank, and that is Sir Casey the Shield Knight came in with a tip over at Rockfin.
All right.
Yeah.
Some tips and raid. Is it raid token? Is that how you say it?
I have no idea.
Rock token? What is it? Hold on, let me see again.
No, it doesn't matter. Just go follow the Rockfin, everybody. It's just another way that we're trying to guard ourselves from completely disappearing from the internet.
Yeah.
Because our Twitch appeal still has not even been addressed. Very unfortunate. They're doing a wonderful job.
You and I are just hateful people.
No, they're hateful. They're hateful of anybody who is trying to get the good word out.
Yeah.
That you don't have to be the clone that the system wants you to be, man.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Crime News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. Until then, think outside the cage.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. This is not about freedom or personal choice.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world.
Goodbye, everybody, and that's the end. And everyone says, "Oh, that was fun."
Bye.
I'm out of here. Bye.
CanaryCrimeRadio.com/support